Okay, I think I got that thing licked. I'm gonna wait for somebody to join and then I'm gonna get the show started. I hate that that happened. It was crazy. Let me know you guys can hear me. Let me know. Type some ones. Say finally. Say finally or something. So I know we got, because, man, that was crazy. Let me know. Type some ones. Let me see if you guys can hear me. I think I worked it out. Let me make sure it's good on my end. Check. All right. I don't listen. Here's the thing. When you have computers, as much as I hate computers, and I build computers, this is what I do for a day job. It seemed like every time you turn around, something happens. So I had to restart this program, restart oh God, it was crazy. Restart my mixing board. Everything just wanted to act like it was crazy. So I'm glad. But I wanted to start off with that because those of you who saw the video, um, thank you, Trina. Thank you. So the video that was sent to me, I was supposed to do it last week, but we started talking about the Kyrie thing, right? So when I look at this thing and I say, okay, that was kind of tacky with the ring. When you give a ring to a woman that you love, you got to spend a little bit of money. First of all, if I'm going to buy you jewelry, it's going to be something, you know. Let me say this. In buying engagement rings, I'm not a huge fan of the diamonds, 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 diamonds. The reason why is because a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, those diamonds, those little bitty ones, they just make the ring look big because you want a big ring. But a real diamond has some glisten to it, so it has a sparkle to it that even from a distance, you see that thing lighten up. I'm more of a princess cut kind of diamond guy. I don't like the whole cluster thing. I don't like busy engagement rings or busy rings in general. I like the one diamond. I mean, the biggest diamond that you can afford. Why does this matter? Because you are saying to this woman that out of all the women in the world that I've dated and I wanted to date, I'm choosing you. I'm showing you with this how serious I am. I know, fellas. I want to spend all this money and end up losing it. But you should vet better. Don't propose to a woman that you don't, know if for sure you want to be with. Now, you can always take it back, but she's not going to give it back, especially if it's something that I would buy. I'm just being honest. And then the second thing, you don't propose to her in a car like that. I would take her somewhere nice, somewhere where like we laugh at Martin. I know it's a joke, but here's the thing. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I get that. I just want Martin when he had them sing and dear sir, would you like some flowers? Would you like them? Then he got on his knees and Mike and what's his name? The light sing. Ooh, ooh, Brian McKnight, I think it was. He did that little serenade, had her listen. Her tears was running, but I'm pretty sure there were some extracurricular activities that went on later. I promise you there were some extracurricular activities.
Smash.
I'm sure that happened later on. Handle your business, bro. But to do it in the car while she's driving, tacky. To buy that ring, it didn't look, I'm sorry, that ring looked cheap to me. That's just me. That's me. Fellas, help me out. But the ring looked cheap. That's two. Number three, now, y'all live together and y'all been together 10 years. You technically were married. Tell me what difference would that have made had he married you? Now, that's my thing. We live together and everything else the only thing that would change is your last name. I know a friend of mine that moved to Atlanta now. She was sister of somebody I used to date actually. And they lived together. Once they got married, they said the only thing changed was, some legal things, but our last name. You lived together for 10 years and, I don't know. Tell me what you think. I thought it was tacky. I would have put some thought into it. Now let me flip it. you actually dodged the bullet because she was way mad aggressive to me. The way she was talking, I know you were upset, but I don't care if you're upset, but the way you talked to me, had he gone back and said, okay, I realized the error of my ways, I'm not sure if that was me, if I would have, I probably would have jumped off and said, nah, this not work. I'm a big fan of talking things out instead of yelling and hitting and slapping things out my hand. To me, that's too far. And you actually, both of you dodged the bullet because if he was tacky, ain't no telling what's gonna happen on your 5th year anniversary. But if you are that aggressive where you slapping stuff out of his hands and the words that you were using, and my ma'am, where were you going? You grabbed that little bag, you live together. Don't you think there's other things you could have taken with you? Yeah, I don't know. So to me, fellas, do the best you can to be romantic. In that instance, do the best you can to be romantic. Try to be creative. Try to make the moment special. That's what you could have done. Me driving from a burger joint and you just lean over and be like, yeah, that's not good. That's not a good look. It's just not good for her. It's not good for you. This is one of the most life-changing experiences in a person's life when, especially a man, you're asking a woman to marry you and you weren't even decent enough to get on your knee and ask for her in the marriage. I mean, that was tacky. That I don't need. The thing is, yeah, she got physical. I don't need tips for online to be romantic. The thing is, I can look into my woman's eyes and tell her how much you mean to me, how much. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I was like, look, I don't have a heart without you because you are my heart. I don't exist without you. My life is non-existent unless you are in it. And because of that, I cannot spend another day in this earth without you by my side. And because of that, I would like to know if you would do the honor of allowing me to be your husband. Boom, that ring. Now, expensive rings come in very, very good cases, okay? Cheap rings, you could just flip out like this. Expensive rings, you have to do this. It's a little case. Everything that I bought that was expensive, they take their time. They wrap it up. They make sure that ring, so when you open it, it's like clean. They actually go through and shine that one extra, even if it's brand new, to make sure that when it's, you ever seen that cartoon when they open that ring up, it's like, they do that. And that's, for me, I don't know. That was just way too much for me. That was way too much. Now, last week, we went over the Kyrie Irving situation, and it has not ended, okay? They are really, really going through so much with this man. I personally think that it should be over. Once he said he was sorry and he explained himself thoroughly online, that's what you wanted. But that's not what they wanted. They wanted more. So Kyrie left a message that kind of pretty much summed everything up. He said, I was not put on this earth to participate in any religious, political wars or incite racial disharmony, prejudice within communities, right? We are all equal under the sun, and I'm here to participate in the building of the equal world and follow the word, here we go, of the Most High God, Yah. If you didn't think that Kyrie was believing or following the teachings of my Hebrew Israelite brothers, this erased all of that. This is showing you that he actually is. Because I still use Yah. I don't say God, I say Yah. So this shows that. But my thing is this. I don't really think they care about him apologizing. I think they want him to denounce what he just demonstrated. They want him to say, that's not true. The movie is not true. We're not the biblical Israelites. That's what they're wanting. If he got in front of a mic and said that, all goes away. And it's funny that we have people now that when it comes to issues that they agree with, they allow athletes to speak. But when it comes to things that they don't agree with, the kneeling and the protesting and the speaking out about social injustice, now they're saying, oh, shut up and dribble. But a friend of mine sent me this, and I want you guys to check this out.
So does that mean that every single rap song that the NBA plays in halftime or between the songs or between them dribbling, they agree with everything that artist said in that song or in the album, that one? Or the
I'm glad you said
if so, then we got beef. Because if you agree with everything that rapper said or everybody you brought up on stage or everybody, so you can't have that ideology on one thing but not everything.
Exactly.
So if that was the case, the stadium got to be silent the whole time.
Listen,
Absolutely.
If that's the case, we need to boycott. So forget even screenshotting the joint. This what y'all promoting to 20,000 people after we done paid 30, 40, 50, 80, 200, $5,000 for every seat in that joint. Man, they're going to start making changes. But since we can't see past what's happened, oh, y'all need to make them accountable for this, that, and the third. And, oh, man, shut up and dribble. This is what they told him. They told him with all that, shut up and dribble. And if you want to dribble again, this is what you're going to do. And he had all the people throwing stones at him, basically saying, shut up and dribble. Even the other dude that they told to shut up and dribble said something.
What if
keep it
what if all the Kyries said we're not playing in this league and they go over to Cubes like you talked about?
Oh man, that would be what we need. That's what we need.
Be a heartbreaker.
Be the revolution.
We had to build stadiums because they wouldn't. We had to play at Rucker.
Let's
That's
build
good money.
stadiums.
That's where we start.
Let's go build stadiums,
and then we all bust there. We all get there.
Now let's deal with the elephant in the room. Kyrie is on to something. The writer of the film is on to something. I told you last week, go and research. You might be surprised at what you find out. Me and Chris and I, we talked about this even after the show last week. You need to go and research this. But I agree with these guys. They're telling you to shut up and dribble, but they just really want to crucify Kyrie. They want him to denounce the movie. They want him to denounce his own beliefs. There was a racist owner that owned the Clippers a few years ago. He just sold the team. Did they have him go do the owner's club? Did they have him do any sensitivity training? Did he meet with any black leaders? I mean, this happens over and over again, but when it's somebody else outside of you, then there's an issue. When you say anything about anybody else, they allow you to talk about us all day. They'll show that on the news and go get a Snicker bar. My issue, I think they're on to something. Ice Cube has a league. There are other leagues you can form. We're 80% of the league. If every black athlete in the NBA walked away and said we're going to do our own thing, the NBA would crumble in a week. Their best talent is black. Stars that draw the most attention is black. That's why they hyping up Luka. They want Luka to be so good because they know it. They know it. But I can talk about that in a sports show about Luka. I don't want to come across hating because it's not his fault. He's not even from here. But if we left the NBA, I know that's unrealistic because they're not. It's always one. There's always one that would say, well, it's not so bad. We can deal with it. Let's find another way to deal with it because you want that bag. And that's how they get you. That's the slave mentality. What's good than what we have here, boss? What's good here? Me personally, I think I like what these guys were saying. Thank you to the guy who sent it to me. This was so real. Rucker Park. If you've never been to New York, you need to go to Rutgers Park. If you like basketball, you need to go see them play. You see some of the greatest stars in history go to Rutgers Park. Why? It's so legendary. They made a point there. We run the NBA. And we should not allow people to tell us to go against our own beliefs because it makes them feel uncomfortable. Because they don't want to hear the truth. And you got to ask yourself, and I'm going to move on, but you got to ask yourself, why are they going through this? When they could he's already apologized. Why are they going through this much? Ask yourself that question. Come back next week and let's talk about it. Come back, let's look next week. But anyway, we're going to move on from that. But I just want you guys to see that people are waking up. Brothers and sisters are waking up. I'm not telling you to go out and be a Hebrew Israelite, but it's about time. This is the best time in history to get information. Find out. You can find out at least where you came from. Now, amen, lights. Okay, now let's move on. This was sent to me, and I hope you guys are sitting down. Please tell me you are, because nothing can prepare you for what you're about to see.
La cual se nota y se evidencia que lleva cuerpos extraños. Listo, doña Yolanda, voy entonces a proceder a este elemento.
Lord.
You can't make this shit up.
You can't make it up. They literally had, I can't say it, I don't want to get flagged on YouTube, but they literally had contraband hidden in their weave.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
You can't make it up. You cannot make this up. Ladies, I'm going to say this one more time. There are a lot of men, I would say a great majority of men, that do not like weave like that. I personally, I don't care. Your hair is beautiful. I don't care if it's coily. I don't care if it's, I like to say curly, thick, curly. I don't care. But the weave of this magnitude where you can hide like Nino Brown level contraband in your hair, that is crazy. Nino Brown.
Who?
Nino Brown. That is, listen, when I saw this, I said, oh my God, I got to show, I want to know what you guys think. Tell me what you think in the comment section about that. That right there, that just blew my mind. Woo, Jesus. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times where little extension is fine. I'm not talking about extensions. I'm not talking about doing something different. But you know, if your hair is like that short and then you show up the very next day looking like Rapunzel, then there is an issue for me. I don't want that, like that chick Sindel on Mortal Kombat. Where do I have it? Oh no, where is it? Where is it? Oh God, I don't know. Oh, here it is.
Finish him.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that when I see you come out the bathroom with your hair that long. I don't want to see that. I don't really want to see that. But she's going to jail, of course. In this Colombia, oh, they're going to light her up. But I just don't think that, fellas, don't leave me out here tonight, fellas. I'm going to need you tonight. I'm going to need you, fellas, because we going somewhere tonight, all right? Here we go. Check this out, fellas. Check this out. This lady said, how much to keep a woman happy monthly? Hair $450, nails $350, lashes $350, makeup $250, clothes $500, groceries, eating out, gym membership, car note, vacation fund, phone bill, medical insurance, going out, all of that $5,000 a month that she said it takes to make her happy. But here's the crazy thing about it. Two things if you don't miss it. I hate when a woman run down her requirements to me and following that she doesn't say what she's willing to do for me. That's the first thing. Number two, she didn't say her husband. She said her man, I guess the man is trying to date her. $5,000 a month? Now, y'all know, can I afford that? There is no meow in the world good enough for me to go there. I don't care how good you think your viscous innards are. It can go beyond sunshine. When you open, the utopia of the heavens can float and all the angels can go up in the air and said, it is yours, my son. It doesn't matter. I'm still not paying $5,000 for your makeup, for all of that, and your medical insurance. What, are you having my child? No. Why? Because I'm not hitting it for $5,000 when I can pay $40 and get some good ones. I don't understand. And the thing is, I see this happen, and I had a conversation. Like lately, I talk to a lot of men, right? But lately, I've been asking a lot of women questions, and one woman actually said this, well, I'm not going to date a man unless he can do all of this for me. Unless he can do all of this for me. Unless he can do this, he can pay this bill, he can do this, do this. I'm sitting up at light. The sense of entitlement. Because, no, I don't want to go into that. That's going to happen later. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Now, let's move. I saw this in a musician group. Now, I don't know this man. Brother, I'm not attacking you, but I will light up what you just said. Check this out, y'all. He says, come on, play for me. He says, now I'm about to get in trouble. Yes, you are. Singers and musicians, calling the number has become such a trend and borderline distracting. While it has become a universal way of direction, many resort to it because they don't know the music. That may be true. In fact, here's when the number should be used. Free flow in worship moments, I agree. Creativity, I agree. Preaching, accompaniment, whatever, I agree. You probably should not be calling numbers during the song selection, especially if it was preceded by rehearsal or prior study of the material. Right. I know some singers who would love to give numbers, but I would like to submit the numbers only be used if the musicians get lost after you sent the music and rehearsed. Here's my thing with that. I think if you want to keep everything flowing, you might need to call numbers. I mean, for crying out loud, I have in my stems that we use on our performance tracks, I have cues where it's actually my voice, where it's saying chorus, vamp, take it out, break it down, all that other stuff, so the musicians know what's coming. I personally don't have a problem when a musician give me the numbers the whole song. I could either ignore them or whatever. I don't think it's distraction. Why are you looking over there anyway? You're supposed to be looking at the choir. That's number one. But he took it a step further, and it landed him.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Now check this out. Where is it? Oh, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. Where you at? Okay, here we go. He says as a challenge, let's stop the numbers and learn actual theory. Here's something to study and stretch your understanding. 1 tonic, 2 supertonic, 3 median, 4 subdominant, 5 dominant, 6 submedian, 7 leading tone, 8 is the 1, right? Let's not be trendy and flashy. Let's have purpose and understanding. Yeah. Where you at?
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Now, here's my problem with that. You didn't have to show that you knew theory in that regard. Now we know you know theory. No. In a church setting, 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3, 4 is 4. Up is 5. That's diminished when they throw the shoulders and say up. Then 5. This is how we communicate in the session where musicians may need the guidance. Yeah, you should learn the song. Of course, I agree with you there. But if you want to give the numbers to the song, say for instance a bass player that you know is not sweet, because that's most of the time who you give the numbers to. You're not giving numbers to the drummer. You're giving it to the bass player, right? So if the bass player you know is not sweet or didn't learn the song, you just want to be sure, I don't think it's a problem giving the numbers. I could be wrong, but I'm sure most bass players would be happy that the MD thought enough of them to help me along the songs. Because, and I will say this and I'm going to move on, the one thing about church musicians that I think make us honestly some of the greatest in the world, when we do recordings that you guys listen to on the radio, we practice for 2 weeks, 3 weeks straight, right? Church musicians have to learn songs that it took us a week to learn. We have to learn it in 2 hours and perfect it for Sunday morning. So if the musician director wants to give me numbers to help me along, even if we have rehearsal, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know, it just seemed like musicians sometimes want to just pick and nitpick all the time. Anything that they can find to, well, I was going to say the word, it starts with the B. Anything that they can find to cry up about, then they will do so and try to attack other musicians. No, if the musician director wants to throw out numbers all day, let him. This is not your place to call it distracting. If the pastor of the church doesn't have a problem with it, and the director and the choir director, as long as they don't have a problem with it, I don't care if he throw out numbers in Hebrew, Aramaic. Give me my numbers so we can play the song, because I'd rather him give me the numbers and it's right, and we make it through the song flawlessly, than me sitting. I'd rather that happen. I don't have a problem with it. If he's giving out the numbers, first of all, most of us is in the mic just like this. 4, 3, 4, 3, 1, right to 7. You're not hearing him doing all this. He's talking in the mic. Most churches now have mics. Now, if you're in R&B and they need to call you numbers, then you probably need to go bag groceries at Piggly Wiggly, because you're not ready for that level of playing. But I know in a church setting, when they have the mic, when you see the musician directors or whoever, some people have a whole band with mics, because even a drummer can call out numbers. Then they may say 7, 1, 3, 4, done. 5, bun. 6, 5, done, done. They could do that all day. It's not distracting. I just think you're just trying to be up right now. That's just me. That is just me. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Since we talking about church. Preachers Gone Wild is 51 now. Whew. I'm so happy to be here, Preachers Gone Wild. I actually love this segment. And we're going to get started right away. Check this out. You know the bad part about it is, I think this is me on bass. I really do think this is me. And I'm not trying to be funny, but that's the way we actually play on Sunday mornings. And so what happens is it's this bass line that I do when there's a bump going on, when it's a praise break, some of you call it, and I'm going do 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 do. But I wanted to switch it up this time. And so I did something totally different. This sounds like us. I'm Raekwon or Razor. When y'all hear this, let me know. But when this lady, if you are in the court and the spirit hits you like this, listen, well, have your way, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry. Whew. The spirit hit me right then and there. I had to get my bump on. I was about to do my whole little laps up in here. I was about to go and woo! It just I'm going to get me some praise break music here one day. I just keep forgetting to load it up. But man, listen, I don't know what to. But listen, hey, they laid her out. The only thing, listen, you got to have the sheet. Without the sheet to lay over her when she went down, then you was out of order. You were out of order. You got to have the sheet. You got to make sure you got that blessed oil. And you got to have the bag because she may want to get purged. You know that purge coming up. You got to catch that. See, the altar workers weren't ready. You got to be ready. But I guarantee you guys are not ready for this. Listen, Grandma is giving me life. Y'all hear me? Grandma is giving me life. She's like, I'm not with this at all. Joe, check this out. Do I have to do it, y'all? Ma'am. Now you know good dang well you ain't supposed to be climbing up on them pews. Like, I don't know you. You see, I don't know you personally. But when did this trend start? In my comment section, please tell me, when did the trend start when you jump up on pews? When did this whole thing start? When people can jump up on pews and just do this? I know it didn't start with her. But when did it start? That's what I want to know. I want to know when it started because I see preachers doing it. I see choir directors doing it, and it's just a new thing. But the old pews, listen, you got to do a leg check. You got to check and make sure that there's at least 4 beams. If you at one of them old Baptist churches or one of them old Kojic churches where it's like 3 beams holding like a whole row, maybe you shouldn't jump up on that. Because I'm almost positive you're going to go down. You're going to go down through that bench and you're going to fall. And guess what? This person is going to laugh after I find out, is she okay? Yeah. Which brings me to this. Look, y'all, go see Black Panther. Go see it. But I was cracking up at this. I ain't going to tell y'all about it. It was a good movie. But I'll be laughing like I was in the movie theater. I'd have been laughing. Because the old pews, you can see this thing was weary in its well-doing. It was bucking. had she really jumped on that mug, it was going to go wham. And I wonder if it had enough friction where the ends would come up and do like a Tom and Jerry situation. So it would be like, blam, wham. And she'd sit the mic down and just fall straight back. I want to know if she would do that. Oh, Jesus. But I don't think it, I don't know. I don't like the jumping on the pew thing. I don't like it. That's just me. But another thing I don't like is preachers. Listen, I did a live when I first started doing this over a year ago. When I first started doing lives, I talked about the bully pit, you know, and the power of the microphone. You know, people, when they have microphones in church, they feel like they can say whatever and get away with it. Well, somebody sent this to me today. And whereas I've always tried to cut off stuff at a certain day because I'm thinking about moving this thing to Sundays. So I'm definitely going to have to preach this going wild. You're going to have that sent to me before, right? But when I saw this, I was like, nope, I need to do this tonight. And you're going to see right now.
Tired of the devil. I'm tired of my sister. She's out of order. You will not pastor in the same city that I'm pastoring in and bring in compromise. I'm going to shut you down by the Spirit of God. Look at them, they're scared. Oh, Pastor, you scared? Oh, if you scared, you got to join you another gang. Because even though we holy, we got the spirit of the blood and the crip over here. I'm not hearing nobody talk back to me. If you scared, then you better join you another church. Because we coming after this devil. I said we coming after this devil. Irene, I wasn't going there, but I just feel something in my spirit. How dare you stand up and try to destroy our mother's legacy? Our mother was not a whore.
What?
Nor did she promote harlotry. You're going to open up a church right down the street and telling people you can do anything you want to do. I shut you down by the Holy Ghost. I command that you cannot even pay your rent. I shut you down.
Is there an interpreter in the room? Is there an interpreter in the room? Dude, I don't care if she turned into the Wicked Witch of the West and teamed up and did a tag team partnership with the Wizard of Oz. It's a time and a place to do everything. And you saying you're Bloods and Crips? So is this what we doing? What they call the blood gang? Is this what we at? Where it is now you in the mic going at your sister. Ladies and gentlemen, when is this going to end? Where we just in the mic just saying whatever. My mama didn't raise, my mama was no whore. Okay, all right, bro, you didn't need to say that. If you have your Bibles, let's go to the book of insert book name, chapter, verse. That's all you need to do. All that extra stuff, you don't need to do all that. That's messy. That is so much mess. Now, we don't know the backstory. I understand we may not know the backstory of it, but you just don't get in the mic and do stuff like that. To me, that was way too much. Y'all tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Because I want to see any bona fide preachers back in the day do anything. Find one preacher outside of R.L. Mitchell that would get in the mic on Sunday morning and read his brother and sister.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
I'll wait. Because I can't think of not one. Because they're too busy trying to preach the word to feed their own people. They don't get involved in all that extra stuff. And like somebody said in the comment section, you are supposed to deal with family matters at home with your family. Now, if she's on CNN and MSNBC, I don't think they care about her. She got 4 members and she's one of the 4. If that's the case, they're not going to care. She's not. No matter what she's done, she's not the first. I don't care if she was the whore of Babylon. She's not going to be the first. So they were not going to care unless it's meeting the media at a large level. There's no need to speak. period. But I just feel like when people have this thing right here, they feel like they can say anything in the world and get away with it. They say anything in the mic and get away with it. But a lot of people are doing stuff in church because they think they can get away with it. Like you have people showing up to people's church, even when they're asked to leave, it turns into a situation. Think I'm lying?
Praise in this place, hallelujah. If you know God, God is worthy to be praised. We thank God. We thank God. Open that up. Praise God.
We informed your
We
apostle
thank God for
that
all
we didn't
things.
want y'all here.
In Jesus'
Wow, okay.
name.
So can you
Praise
please
God.
leave?
Go ahead, y'all.
Hallelujah.
I got the first.
We
Thank
thank God. God is good. Is
Go
God
ahead,
good?
Yes,
Come on,
He
come on, y'all. Let's say this way. Is God good? He's
Hallelujah.
worthy of the praise. Amen. He's worthy of the glory. Come on, let me hear somebody. Hallelujah. We serve a God like this. God of our salvation. He's worthy and he's worthy and he's good to be praised. Hallelujah. Glory to God. Hallelujah. Glory to God. We thank God for all things after conversation with Pastor Danzig had with Apostle Radcliffe. Praise God.
We told him at that time that because of the discord and the things that you sowed, that we would rather you not be in our sanctuary. So we're asking you kindly to leave. I would hate to call somebody to force you out, but we're asking you nicely to leave.
Amen.
But please leave. Please respect our wishes. After what y'all did to my chief, and what y'all did to a lot of the members, and I'll stand in your camera. You can put me on Facebook. Please leave. That's all we ask. And I will be calling your leader.
Amen. God bless
I'm
you.
going to call your leader because we told him to ask you not to call.
Amen.
Anybody know where my phone is?
That's all right. First is dealing with it. Amen. First is dealing with it. Amen. Come on, baby. Come on, Bree. Come on, baby. Come on. God bless
What
you.
matter of storefront foolishness is this?
I'll be reading from Psalms 8, and I'll be reading verses 1 through 4. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. Who has set thy glory above the heavens? Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings have thou ordained strength because of thy enemies, that thou mightest still the enemy and the avenger. When I consider thy heavens, the work of the fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him, and the son of man?
It's all right. It's all right.
For thou hast
We
made
see how
him a
they
little
feel.
more than
It's
the
all right.
angels,
And got the
hast
shirt on that I
crowned
bought.
the glory and
It's all right.
honor.
Come on.
I have read Psalms
It's all right.
1 through 5.
It's all right. Bless you, Bishop.
It's
okay. It's okay. It's all right.
You ain't got no weapon.
Oh, baby, I'm don't
show them the bag. It's no weapon in the bag. We came over here peaceably. When the officer hit me, you ain't told me nothing first.
Watch how you talk to him. No. Watch how you talk. Watch how you talk.
Chief Apostle Robinson.
Watch how you talk.
Oh, step to me now. Step to me now.
Let's go.
Joe. No.
Listen, I guess they had left the church, from what I'm understanding. They had left the church, but it was something else that happened. The preacher actually did an explanation of what happened. I don't need that. I mean, I don't care what the backstory is. I really don't care what the backstory is. If you showed up to the church and they asked you to leave, when they asked you to leave, just leave. Just leave. You made a scene and you videotaped the whole thing. And somebody left it in the comment section. I totally agree with you that it leaves a bad mark because people will look at that and say, see how church people are. This show right here exists because of this. I don't need to go and look at, I don't care. I'm never going to do that. There's some people out here that do that. They dig into your personal business. They try to find dirt on you and your personal business, whatever that is. I don't do that. This show is particularly for things that we see, because most people want to do the phone thing. They have the phone, they want to videotape. They want their moment to go viral, but they don't put it on YouTube where they can make money. You know, they don't do that. But I think that when you are in a church like this, and show some respect. If they ask you to leave, leave. Don't try to fight. Don't try to make a scene. Just leave. Regardless. The lady did. We asked you to leave. Right there. And I don't care if you were there and the quote-unquote spirit sent you there. At that moment, you were out of order. If they didn't give you a voice and they didn't give you the floor to speak, then it's time to go. Everything that you do should be done in decently and in order. That was out of order and it wasn't decent. And if you were outside fighting and you guys are having an all-out brawl outside in the hallway, and if you are a pastor and you are participating in said brawl, then that makes you worse. Because my thing is, I know I've grown. My temper used to be one, not to the point of violence, but I would always need to go somewhere and calm down. That's a hot-headed young man, you know, that you grow out of that. But one thing I do know now, if I'm a leader, I can't explode and get myself into these positions. I need to exercise some leadership and say, look, brother, I understand that you're hurting. Can you please call me? Can we talk? Can we go break bread somewhere? Can we have breakfast somewhere so we can come together and reason? But no leadership was demonstrated here. Only thing we saw is a whole lot of cackling, a whole lot of fighting, and it was demonstrated in the worst way. I'm disappointed in everybody in the video, everybody, including the idiot that taped. VJ McCoy says this all the time. It's a certain time when that phone should go off. I don't put my personal business on here. You don't know much about me unless you have a conversation. Those of you who have had conversations with me, you know a little bit about me. But I don't put that stuff out here. You won't know. And I don't carry a video camera everywhere you can see the intimate details of my life. Why don't we exhibit that same discipline in church, where things that happen in the church, we are our body, we are our family. The stuff that happens in church should stay with us. You don't see anybody else doing that. We should be able to take these phones off and have our experience, streaming, whatever, because some of you dumb enough to do this on streaming. But the phone thing, everybody wants a phone. Everybody wants their moment to shine. I just don't like that. I think that's the biggest thing that's hurting us right now. Now, I love it because you know, for the show, but I don't like it in as far as us all being believers. I just don't like that. And this sends a bad message. So now people who are already out of church, who left church, or people who've never been to church and heard so many bad things about church, it does nothing but fortify that reasoning that they have. I don't want to go to church. See, this is why, this is why, this is why, this is why. Now, people who don't want to go to church won't go regardless. They don't care if you're the beacon of light with Jesus sitting on your lap. It doesn't matter. But some people do want to go to church, but they don't want to leave their drama every day at home and come somewhere else to get in their car, to get dressed, to come to your church with drama. They just don't. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I hardly think I am in this regard. I think we need to exercise a little bit more discipline. We need to demonstrate this holiness that we all proclaim to have. You're not going to be perfect. I'm not saying that. Please don't think I'm saying that. But now, let me flip this thing. let me flip this thing. For those of you who believe in the come as you are moments, I'm adamantly against the come as you are argument. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. I'm not calling you dumb. I'm saying the come as you are, come as you are. You've been in church 40 years. But see, sometimes come as you are can be taken and it goes too far and finds its way on Preachers Gone Wild because you allowed this to happen.
I know you don't smoke weed. I know this. But I'm gonna get you high today. Cause it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Look, I had to ask Smokey up in there. She was literally rolling up a blunt in church. Come as you are, right? So this is what we're doing. We're rolling up blunts in church. Come as you are. Now, my thing is this. What was happening in this church that made it feel like it was okay, made her feel like it was okay to roll up in the church? Where was the spirit in that moment? Nah, back when I was coming up, the spirit would have knocked you up under that. All the weed and the seeds would have been flying over. Now, if the weed has seeds, that's actually a bad thing. That's not a good thing, by the way. So if your weed has seeds, wait. Let's keep going. But yeah, all of that would have been flying up in the air. You'd have been rolling on the ground, doing a holy roll and everything else. But listen, that come as you are thing, I think this is that to the highest point. To the highest point. And it, to me, I keep telling y'all, it's not over. It's going to get worse because people there's no sanctity in church no more. There is no reverence for the quote-unquote house of God. Now, I believe it's made of brick, stones, and whatever, and asphalt or whatever you're putting in these churches these days. I believe it's that, but I'm still thinking it's some point of reference. This is the place where we gather together to worship the Most High. So I'm thinking at least have some kind of reverence for that. But no, instead of, here's another point that we're going to move on. Here's the point. We so quick to get the phone to record, and nobody went over there and said, ma'am, we don't do that up in here. We don't do that up in here. No, let her come. You know, no. You couldn't go in court and do that. You couldn't go in school and do that. You couldn't show up to a job interview doing that. So why are you in church doing it? And nobody said nothing. Nobody said anything. You cannot make this shift up. You cannot make it up. She was in the church rolling up. Now, here's my thing. If it took you that long to roll up, it could not have been good. You probably need to go back to your weed dealer. I'm just saying. It usually don't take the law. I got a few family members that do it. And it's quick with it. But if you, that's what I'm, listen, Janet, that's what I'm saying. Wait, let me, hold on. How you know, Hearn? Don't worry about all that. Where are the ushers? She didn't know how to roll. And the bad part about it is it's kind of crazy to me because if you say something to people about it, if I say no, it's got to be a line drawn somewhere. And then people say, oh, well, people should come as you are, come as you are, come as you are, come as you are. Well, she came and she definitely not going to leave like she came in Jesus' name. She not. By the time she finished rolling that thing up, it's going to be like, and if I was, see how petty I am on bass? I'm possibly the most petty bass player in the history of church. Because if I saw back there, I probably would have played. I probably would have sang it. I love my Mary Jane. I would have started singing it in church. I would have played it. You definitely would have known what it was. And I would have played it loud. Those of you who played in the set with me that's watching this, you know well I would do it. Y'all know it. I would do it. No, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I should have put the chats up. What I would have said to her is, ma'am, this is what I would have said. And let me put it in my church voice. Hold on, let me see.
Ma'am, I know we're here worshiping. We're worshiping God. We don't allow weed smoking in here. What we would like you to do is to go out. Could you go outside and roll that up and roll one up for me? But nevertheless, we praise God up in here. But outside, you can do that. Roll mine up, though. Okay.
So that's what I would have said. Now, I don't smoke weed, though. But I think there's a way. You could actually get her to go outside. You just do it peacefully. Do it in order. Just be like, hey, let's go outside. Let's go outside and let's talk about this. But I just think with the whole, when I saw this, I said, see, this is to come as you are. This is to come as you are. Now, I'm about to go deep with you, pause, but I'm about to say this. A lot of our churches like to say we got power in the church, right? To me, and I'm going to move on, I swear it. If the power in your church doesn't move people's mind, it doesn't show them a better way, it does nothing but make you feel good, that's not power. It's called euphoria. We make you feel good. It's like a high. We become, I keep saying it, we like Pookie. We like highs. We to our next fix, but we have no power because we're not touching people in the church. They come in and they leave worse than they got here because we just demonstrated what they would see if they come in the church and you having a big old knockdown drag argument. But where's the power in our church? I would say it's none. It just makes you feel good. And I'm not talking about every church. Please don't think I'm talking about every church. But it's a lot of churches out here that say they got power. But they really don't. They just got euphoria. We got a high time. And it's okay. I don't come to church to be dry. Pause. I wanna have a good time. I want the shout music to go. I don't have a problem with that. The praise to be high. I don't care about that. But don't conflate that with what you think the power is. That's not power. That's emotionalism. Thank you, Janet. That's emotionalism. I don't know why I saw you before. Why you look familiar to me? Did I meet you? I don't know. You look familiar. I'm sorry. Let me see what you're saying. Doesn't affect the name. Exactly, Samaj. I agree. It shouldn't be just limited to your four walls. It should extend beyond. And true power doesn't need to be told that it's there. It's demonstrated. It's demonstrated. And people come, they're changed. They mindset change. And here's the thing. There is no way in the heavens, the earth, the Hades, the what they call Thesaurus, whatever they call that, wherever, Gehenna, nowhere in the earth, heavens, above, the moon, stars, quasars, can anybody feel that comfortable in your church to come up in there and roll a joint and not share it with me. But come in there and roll a joint, period. 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 And I think we just got to do better. I love doing Preachers Going Wild. It's funny, it's laid back, but sometimes it make you just scratch your heads like, man, is this where we are? Every week we expose, is this where we are? Every week. Now, I like doing the show. You did a recording. Oh, okay. That's where I saw you from. You same background with somebody. Okay. But yeah, it was, whew. But now let's move on. I want to see if my guests are here. I think Trina and Chris, you can start making your way to the green room because I'm getting ready to go. Now, thank you for joining me. Now I'm going to make you mad. I'm going to make you mad now because we're about to talk about the dating pool. Preachers Going Wild is done. But I want you guys to check this out, and we're getting started on, y'all ready? Y'all really want to have this conversation about the dating pool? Okay, let's go.
Hey y'all, so let's talk about dating. Can somebody tell me why the dating pool is so absolutely, positively horrible? I dipped my toe, just my toe, in the dating pool and I took it back out. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Like, I tried, but the pickings are so slim. Like, ladies, the ones who have got them somebody good, y'all better hold on to the men. Ladies, if you married and it's salvageable, girl, you better fix it. You better hold on. Men, same thing. She may get on your nerves, but baby, you better salvage it. You better go to some couples therapy. You better figure it out. You better put God in the relationship if he ain't already in it. Okay? But let me tell you something. Go ahead, come out here. You're going to be knocking the door down, trying to get back to what you had. Because, baby, I don't know who raised these people. They were raised differently. I've been trying to do Bumble, Hinge, different things like that. I mean, it's so hard to even get a conversation from somebody. I'm asking you, what do you like to do in your spare time? The man said, relax. That's it? You don't like to do nothing else? Another man said he liked the Weather Channel. That's it? So you sound boring. The thing is, you're not even saying anything that makes me want to get off the app and continue to talk to you. Because we can't even make it past the conversation. Like, if you say, hello, how are you? We get past all of that. And the next thing you say, what's your Snapchat? Sir, I don't do Snapchat. And then your response is, I understand. And that's the end of the conversation. Come on, Jesus. Just come back. Please. Please. Just come on. Come on. Come get your girl. Come get your girl. Because I can't do it no more. Okay? All right.
All right. So you see what she had to say about the dating pool. I prepared for this. I mean, I got the questions later. I'm giving guys a chance to join in if they're coming. But pause. But here's my thing. I actually did a poll today in one of the most ratchet groups I ever seen in my life. But it's 100 and something thousand people in this group, which is why I posted it there. I think it's close to 100,000. It's a lot. It's tens of thousands in this group. And I posted, I said, what would you, in one word, and I'm going to ask you, who is this? Okay, hey, Trina. I'm going to ask you in my comment section, the people who are watching right now, in one word, describe the dating pool. In one word. I think that's Chris. I think both of them here. Yeah, they are. In one word, describe the dating pool. Give me one word to describe the dating pool, in your own opinion. But I asked this group, and out of the many responses, I got so many, and people were sharing it. Out of the many responses, they were pretty much over 95% negative. Over 95% negative. People were saying, oh, the dating pool is trash, it's pissy, it's crap, it's mud, it's this, it's that. And I'm wondered, and I'm asking you, is it really that bad? Is the dating pool really that bad? Is it really that bad that you would say is pissy or is trash? Is the dating pool that horrible? With that being said, I'm going to bring my guests on. First coming up is Trina. You know her. She's been here before. Hey, Trina.
Hi, D.
And then, this man paused in advance, but he's mad cool, and I want these people to go, yeah, I definitely want this to be like a bloodbath. But this is Chris. What's up, Chris?
What up,
Chris Terry. Let me make sure you guys, can everybody hear them? Say something, Chris.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay. Type in once. Trina, say something.
Women are the best.
Lord, the modern day feminist. You're gonna love the new Black Panther. You're gonna love the new Black Panther. It is geared to, now I'm going to say this. One thing about the Black Panther, and one thing I'm going to say, and I don't care. Y'all know me by now. I'm going to say it. I do not like the element that they are pushing in our movies. In our movies, it tends to be the men are so much weaker mentally, and in some cases, even in these movies, physically, than our women. And I'm feeling like it's strategic because even in Wonder Woman, she would yield to some man, but in our movies, our women is just like over the top, masculine and strong over us. It's so, I love the movie. Don't get me wrong, but it's a strong, strong element of feminism in that movie, man. I mean, I'm gonna let y'all go see it, and then we can come back and talk about it. But it is, yes, oh, please. God. I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but I sat there and I said, it's here. It's here. But anyway, I want to ask you guys a question before we get to the questions I've sent you. And guys, we're going to ask these questions. And I want the audience to participate in some of these questions. I want to see those comments going in on this subject because we're going to talk about it, okay? But let me ask you a question. And give me in one word Trina, give me one word what you think the dating pool is like. One word.
Acid.
Who?
Acid.
She said acid, hydrochloric, or, you know.
Where it just burn everybody up that's in there.
Yeah, some of y'all do burn everybody up. But Chris Ted.
Wait, that means I roll up now.
I'm just messing with you. Chris, what would you give it? One word.
Oh man, I would say it's just very poor quality. Oh, you asked me for one word.
One word.
Sad.
Wow.
Yes.
It's like everybody. Y'all want to know what I think it is? Y'all want to know what I think it is? I think the dating pool is, what's the word that I want to say? Standard. It's what it is. I personally feel, and this is just my personal opinion, the dating pool is what you want it to be and what you present yourself to be in there. Why I say that? Because for men like me, I don't have, if I was out there, I wouldn't have a problem. I would pick some good ones. You know, I would date, I would vet. My vetting skills have gotten a whole lot better. And so I would honestly say it'd be okay for me. The dating pool will be okay. I mean, because it's like any pool. You got good, you got bad. You right? So let me ask you, Trina, do good men exist?
I think they do.
So do good men exist in the pool where you are?
No.
Good men don't exist.
At least none that I've met. I mean, these guys feel like they're the prize nowadays, and they come in with so many issues and problems. Even the guys that you would think is like a good guy, once you get below the surface, you're like, I don't feel like dealing with this headache.
Interesting. Chris, do good women exist?
Yes, they do. Far and few between, but they do exist.
Okay. So if they exist, does that still taint the overall pool for both of you?
I think it does because the options are very limited. You said that, you know, based upon, I guess, where you are or whatever your standards are, you said you could find somebody on that level. I'm not gonna discourage you from believing that, but I think that you would find that when you get down to the core beliefs and standards, you would find that there's a disparity between your expectations and then what they're willing to produce.
That's good. Okay.
Okay,
So let me ask you this question. What constitutes a good woman? What qualities does she need to have that makes you feel like she's a good woman?
Of course, being feminine, submissive, these are more traditional, so to speak, but these are the same. I ask women this all the time, you know, or I'll pose it to women all the time, how men have been very consistent, meaning like if you go back 100 years, the things that would have got you married, the things that attracted a man to a woman back then would do the same things today, but that's not true for the woman. You know what I'm saying? It's her expectations, her qualities, her core values, so to speak, are drastically different.
Okay, Trina, what constitutes a good man?
Let's just talk about financial stability.
I knew you were gonna go there. That was
because
off the
y'all lead out majority of the time that my job is to protect and provide. When it comes down to the provision, so many men can't even manage their money. I didn't say you had to be rich, but whatever you're bringing in, can you manage it? You're not borrowing no money from me.
So that constitutes a good man. Somebody
No,
that's financial.
I gave you one statement. That's not all of these. I need character. On top of you being financially stable, I would like for you to have a career where that you kind of set in life, have some character. Can you be loyal? Are you emotionally available?
What's that mean? Because I hear that all the time when they say emotionally available. But
like
I need to know.
I need you to be able to process your emotions. I can't only see anger from you. Can we see more than anger? Do you know how to sit down and have a conversation when we're in a disagreement without being disrespectful? Just like you was talking about earlier, how you like to sit down and talk about stuff. Like we should be able to sit down and talk about stuff, work together as a couple to solve whatever issues or whatever may be going on. It's so many guys like, it's like Unfortunately, it seemed like the only thing they come to the table with is say, "Oh, I'm here to protect and provide." Okay, what else? I need more than that.
Okay. I think I've never led with that or even mentioned to be a provider, protector. Like if I was actively trying to date somebody, you know, if it came up in the discussion, those words, that's the only way those words would leave my mouth. You know what I'm saying? They would probably, I would try to show, quote unquote, the character first, right? I think that's important. I mean, because if I say, well, you know, Derek, tell me a lot about you. Tell me something. Oh yeah, I'm a provider. I'm a protector. I'm, you know, that really, I don't think that that's what we would lead with though. But I get what you're saying. But I just feel like with financial stability, that's something that could be a little, what's the word I want to say, ambiguous. You know, because financial stability to some may mean having a lot more money.
I need you to manage it.
It may mean, you know, having. So let me ask you this: could you be financially stable and work a job paying you $7 an hour?
Ooh. With these bills, I don't know how you doing that.
I mean, I thought it was a good question though.
But $7, where you gonna be able to stay at and make that kind of money and still be able to support you? I mean, I don't know.
That's so financial stability is not what you mean. You would prefer somebody that has more money, correct?
No, because I don't feel like you could be financially stable if you're only making $7 an hour. In this day and time,
I pay my bills.
Huh?
I just don't have a whole lot of them, but I can pay my bills.
Okay, so he must gonna be living with somebody, because if you try to own I'm in Florida. If you try to own an apartment down here, you at $1,600. And even for a studio, it's like $1,200. You're not going to be able to afford that with $7 a month, $7 job.
No, we're combining our incomes.
Huh?
We're combining our incomes.
Not at $7.
You made my point for me.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not going that low, because if we break up, I'm going to be on the hook to pay you alimony and all this other stuff. No. If we progress into marriage.
Chris, you want to jump in here?
Yeah, can I jump? Because I didn't finish my list, man. That was on me. But again, submissive. I do. First of all, I do understand where you're coming from, Trina. But we'll get right back to that. Let me finish my list real quick. But I think a woman being submissive, her being feminine, you know, standing in that feminine grace, energy, spirit, whatever you want to call it. Natural beauty. Men prefer natural beauty. We don't like the eyebrows and eyelashes. They're just getting ridiculous. The lace fronts and all. We don't want the nails and all that stuff. We don't want it. We never asked for it. We want natural beauty, and we want you to look your physical best. So women, you know, the whole thing about Lizzo, just love me how I am, we would prefer you to be physically fit. And I think it's time you just got to be honest.
Stop it.
We want you to be physically fit, man. We want you in the gym. We want you tight. We prefer that. That's why we prefer the youthful version of you. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, we like peace. A man comes home, he wants peace, period. I mean, there's many examples I could walk through, but at the end of the day, a man has to know that he can be at peace. He comes home, and that's not that. Notice women don't really call men nags too much, but men have been calling women nags because we process things differently. Come on. I'm all ears. You raise your hand?
No, I think that, I don't know. I don't know if I can express this in the words. When you say men don't call women nags, it's because I feel like we usually are doing so much. So, and maybe it's my experience of being in a relationship, because women have 5,000 jobs. When we get into a relationship with y'all, our workload goes up. This is just a known fact. You can look at the research. If I move in with another roommate, my workload is not going to go up. But when I move in with my man and become his wife, he makes an extra 7 hours worth of work for me. And I'm lessen his load by 1 hour. So what is he nagging about? Because I'm doing a lot.
He's nagging because you're talking too much many times. I'm not saying you specifically. A lot of times women, they just talk too much. They ask the same thing, questions over. And honestly, a lot of women are so used to being dominant and in control, they try to control the man. It just works. We are the only matriarchy. And I mean, ethnicity, so to speak, that are run by this matriarchy. It's not cool. That's why women often talk so much, because they want the man to do what she wants him to do when she wants him to do it. It don't really work like that.
If I'm your woman and I ask you to do something that I don't agree, because there was like a post up where the girl asked the guy to do something and the next second she's doing, I do think we should have patience. But if I ask you to do something, like I know a couple right now, she has asked him to change that cabinet or whatever it is on something. It's 5 years in and it's still not done. That's what annoys us. It's like, if you say you're my babe and you say, come to me in this manner and I'll move for you, why do we have to wait so long?
Okay, you said something earlier, Trina. You said that the men think they're the prize now. Well, the news is in. We are the prize. It is fact. The problem, well, you may never agree with it, but the reality is you can chase a woman forever. If you buy a woman a ring, she's gonna want to upgrade. You buy a car, she's gonna want the next model. You take a travel, you take to Mexico, she's gonna want to go to Dubai. It is what it is. She's always gonna want the next thing. If a woman pours into a man, he will eventually, just by nature, try to please her and make her happy. Okay,
I don't agree with that.
Okay, you may find a scenario, by and large, you're gonna get far better results that way versus a man trying to please a woman. It's not to say he can't please a woman. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when a man chases a woman, it's like an endless rabbit chase, and that goalpost gets moved all the time. So it's very difficult to go that way.
But life changes, so that's why the goalpost is moving. Life is changing. If you met me when I was 21, when I am 31 and 41, things are going to be different. And let's be honest, you as a man have changed too.
Yeah, but the same court again. So women, a lot more women, honestly, would be married if they did the things that are important to a man. Women like to do what's important to them. If you do what's important to a man, it's a very good chance you'll get married.
But what about the guys that make it seem like marriage, they're going to the electric chair? I feel like with the way that the world is, and I don't really want to get into the answer of why it's like that, but the way that the world is now, it's almost like guys just want to be around play, because they know if you come to them, if they come to you and you have standards, it's a $40 chick. That $40 girl, she gonna let you do whatever.
What are these standards?
Let me stop you there. Hold on, let me jump in. You brought up the $40 chicks.
You brought it up earlier.
I understand, but I did. That was way early. But here's the thing. The $40 chick, the reason why men would do that is not because she could do every sexual desire or she could fulfill every sexual desire. We pay her to go home. You know, that's why she gets paid. She gets that money because she goes home. She fulfills our sexual desires or whatever desires. Sometimes it's not even sex. But in the end of it, she goes home. That's why men kind of prefer that action. I know that's weird to hear, but she goes home. No nagging, no fussing, no introspective moments, none of that. That's why she gets. That's why they make that money.
No nagging. Do y'all just want us to not talk?
That's not. No. See, nagging to me is when you continuously say something. Now, yeah, as a man, if your woman is asking you to do something, you absolutely should do your best to do it. Right? But say, for instance, like my work schedule, right? I'm usually gone. I'm working. So if it takes me a second to get to it, understand if I leave to go to work at 9:30 and I'm not coming home to 11:30, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it's Friday now, I'm tired trying to get some rest, and then Saturday, why you ain't get this done? Why you ain't do this? That's nagging. You keeping going, but you're not taking into consideration that I just work like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because for this financial stability that you want so much, now I have to work to do that.
Wait, now, can we communicate? Like if I come to you and say, babe, can you do bop, bop, bop? If you tell me now, babe, you know my schedule's going to be crazy, and Saturday I'm going to need to rest. But if you let me rest on Saturday, I got you on Sunday.
That's the problem. But how many is going to do that though? Because come Saturday morning,
no, I can't speak for all these other women. If you say you're going to do it on Sunday, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you do it on Sunday.
Wait, hold on, Chris. Let me find it for you. Hold on. Let me do it for you.
Stop the cap.
No, it ain't gonna stop the cap. I'm serious. If you tell me now, only thing that will make me upset if we get to Sunday and you don't do it, and then you don't have no rebuttal of why you didn't do it. Because I get it, life happens. You may have said you was gonna do it on Sunday, but hey, I had to run out and whatever. And then it's like, fine, but give me on Monday, baby. I promise I got you. It's like sometimes men, maybe because sometimes they say communication is not y'all's strong point. We don't communicate that. If you had just told her what your schedule look like, when you're gonna need to rest, and this is my plan and when I'm getting it done, I feel like we'll cut a lot of the nagging down. Okay. Now, women should control themselves, but that can help.
Well, I want to go somewhere real quick. So let me ask you, I want you guys to look at this video, and then we're going to talk about it on the other side. Let me get big, pause. Me. It's my
Come
show.
on, Nancy.
Wait, hold on. We'll get to that. Watch this, though. Where you at?
Good morning, beautiful. Just want to let you know I've been thinking about you all night. Last night I had such an... Bitch, wake up. You ain't sleep, ho.
Now, let me ask you this. We see this happen all the time. Man, we actually talk about this a lot. It seems like in this dating pool, the reason why men, I'm speaking from a man perspective right now, and I'm going to ask you, Trina, it's like you choose wrong for so many years. This man just told you, hey, beautiful, whatever, and you threw the phone down like, I don't want to talk to him. But then the dude that called you out your name, be what you doing, and you got up for him. Why is it that you think the dating pool is so horrible, but you spend a lot of your years with the second dude, but you totally ignore the first dude? How do you explain that? Do you think we choose wrong? And men do it too. Do you think we choose wrong, and you think we could have contributed to the reason why the dating pool is so horrible?
I think just like you said, both of the sexes choose wrong, but some of these chicks that you're showing and displaying, like my friends and stuff like that, we wouldn't respond to a guy saying to us, hey, B, no. He would be the one that I would be ignoring. So I don't know these type of women that take that behavior. Now, I'm not saying all the guys that I've got into it with, I have chosen correctly or whatever, but they wasn't on that level.
Chris?
I think that this speaks to a much larger issue, whether you would do that particular thing or not. One thing is for sure. Most men would agree that my list is pretty on par. I mean, every man is not identical, but it's pretty on par. But I would say that women, I would say the qualities, the core, what I would just call core values that you guys should be looking for, most women are not looking for them. So before I tell you what I think they should be, I would love to know, because I know you're gonna say protect and provide, but what else do you think that you should be looking for in a man?
How he treats people, his character. Does he keep his word? Is he an honest man? Is he loyal? Like I said, can he communicate? Is he emotionally sound to be able to participate in a relationship? Does he protect the women that are in his family?
Not bad at all. But I guarantee you, most women wouldn't have that particular list.
What you think they're looking for?
Oh, man, they're looking for swag. Of course, they're looking for the money. I mean, period. But I mean, women are going to look for money. I understand the component. The problem is when a man is totally judged by that alone, because a man offers a lot more than what he brings financially. Period. But a lot of times we are reduced to that. I think also along with, I mean, your list again was good, but I think along with that, I think that our women's particularly, and I look, I'm all black, right? But you see my hat, don't you? All right. I'm all for the black people. But the point, I think our women are trained to be disrespectful to us. It's you guys from the womb to the tomb, you guys have gotten it from family to church to everything else. Western society has taught you guys to disregard the black man. I used to really think that black women had a problem with submission. I learned you guys will submit everywhere else. The grocery store, the CTA, but most in general. The airplane, certainly your job, right? I know for a fact a woman would jump over backwards and everything else, but then she come home and the man asks for a glass of water and we got a problem.
Okay, now
if we want to go biblical, trust me, this thing will cut you coming and going. So I'm not even touching the Bible yet. Thank you. But trust me, it would really cut you, going and coming. Pause again.
Now, when you say the submission thing, because she won't get you a glass of water, I saw a post where this couple, they were older couple interacting, and she was asking him what kind of salad that he wanted with whatever it was. And at the end of it, he loved on her so sweetly. She said to him, well, I promised God that I would take care of you, or something like that. And I thought it was beautiful. But that is a relationship where the lady is not being stressed out. I feel like the man has to love her too. Like me, if my man was home and I came in the house and he asked me to get a glass of water, great. But I also need sympathy from him. If you have been home all day and then I just came in, I got 5,000 bags in my hand, whatever, because that's what
it's. Why would he be home all day? He doesn't work?
No, he might be. It may be his day off. Okay. In relationships in general, man and woman need to learn how to serve one another and not be so selfish. I feel like if both people are doing that, like if you brought me coffee this morning, I have no problem bringing you water. It becomes an issue when I feel like the relationships get one-sided, where one person is constantly giving and the other one is constantly taking.
And I understand that. But at the end of the day, I think that we lose sight of the purpose that a man's function, particularly I'll just say marriage, because I think that should be the end goal. Hopefully most people would agree with that. But I think we lose sight on the function of a man. Like you said, I want a man to love me. Well, it wasn't really popular, but I started getting some insight on how Christ loved the church, because I hear that all the time. Love you like Christ loved the church. You don't really want to know how he loved the church, because I guarantee you in there pampering. Women want men to want a man to, well, let me say this. Christ didn't love the church like, those little snuggly blankets you get when it's, that's how, Christ didn't love the church like that. He gave himself for it. I get that part of it, but he loved the church so much that he gave parameters, boundaries, for one. And that's one of the main things a woman needs from a man that y'all don't want. I'm not turning the heat up on you a little bit, right? That's one of the main things. A woman needs boundaries, parameters. She needs guidelines. She needs somebody to say, hey, what you doing? Come on right now. She needs instruction. She needs, matter of fact, he said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. That's how much he loved the church. Actually, he said, take on my yoke. You love me? Take on my yoke. Lay down your cross for mine. This is how much he loved the church. And we don't talk about this part. That's why I'm tired of hearing Jesus love. Look, we got to talk about what it looks like. He said, my yoke. And what is a yoke used for, Miss Trina?
I'm letting you tell.
Control. A man should control.
Oh, Lord.
Look, a man's function is to control the woman. Control. And when I say control, let me be clear, because this ain't going to sound too good. But when I say, I mean,
you already know, Chris, what that means for us. No.
Listen, D.
And look here, whether we go from Genesis to Revelation, the Bible never says anything different. So how do we think in 2022, something just magically changed?
But when you say
define that control thing, though, define control.
Yeah.
He is the decision maker. He is, first of all, male man was the one who was created in the image and glory of God, not female woman. We can go to 1 Corinthians 7 or 11. It's in there. And in there, and yeah, we can go there if you like to.
No, and in her Bible. Go ahead. If you have your Bibles.
I got my phone.
On top of that, while you're looking for that, in that same chapter, it will tell you, man wasn't made for woman. Woman was made for man. She was created, designed, put into the earth realm for a man. And that goes perfectly well with Genesis 3, was it 2 or 3? All right. I think we talked about that last time. A help meet. That's not a combo word. Those words are separate. A helper that is suitable, proper, fitting, and appropriate for him. That's why you were brought here. And when it goes that way, you tend to get much better results. So women say, oh, that don't work now. But if we would travel back 60 years, we were 80+% married. It was in the minority for children born out of wedlock. And now that you guys have figured out the Rubik's Cube, now the numbers have inverted.
Okay, now my take
women by and large. Last thing, women by and large back then. I don't know how old you are, Trina, but if you got a chance to talk to the generation that preceded you, and certainly the couple ones before, those women were fulfilled back there by and large. Yeah, did sometimes the man step out? Absolutely. There's going to be some wrong done, but by and large, we were much more fulfilled. They were happy and content with their lives. But you guys now are never content. Have more than you ever had, but never content.
I don't know what these women are that you saying that are not.
Well, we don't know the men down there where you at though. It's. I think, like I said, for me here, it's different. I think it's a little different. But I choose certain types anyway. So I don't that dating pool. I don't deal with the scallies or whatever that whatever. I don't mess with those like that. But I brought in Nancy's on here, y'all. This is Nancy Holland. So they say something, Nancy. Let us make sure we can hear you.
I just want to know how old Chris is. Chris.
Why do you ask?
Oh yeah, this
because
hold on.
It's not gonna get heated. I'm gonna respect your platform.
Oh no, go ahead. We here for the smoke. I might have to put my fire background on. Matter of fact, come on,
because
let's do it.
I feel like the sentiment that you are expressing sound like my middle 20-year-old son-in-laws, and I feel like that it is a idealistic but rather uninformed, unsolidified point of view. Because unless to compare what women should want now, when inflation, the cost of living, and everything is as it is, and that doesn't have anything to do with being feminine, agreeable, none of that. But if you want, we submit to power. If you're protecting, we're going to submit. But we're not going to submit simply because you are born with a male member. And that seems sentiment that, so I'm the prize, so you're going to submit. And that's just not. And I am of an age that it's not happening. And even in my mother's generation, it wasn't, if you were staying at home, there was still a semblance of respect. There were still things that were done. There were still very defined roles and responsibilities that came with those roles that don't exist consistently now.
Okay, but here, women did that for a long time, just kind of put themselves on a pedestal and said, I am woman, hear me roar. We had to deal with that for how long? So
no, men put us on a pedestal. Women didn't do that. I can tell you.
I agree. We put you on a pedestal that you did not belong on. That's the reality of the matter. Because reality.
And why didn't we belong on it?
Because you guys are beneath.
This gonna be good.
Because you guys are beneath us. I want to make sure that I'm not breaking up here.
What do you mean that we are beneath you?
Because it is God, Christ, man, woman, children. That's God's order. Now, I don't know if you're a believer or not, but if you are, then you would have to submit to God's plan. And
I am not only a believer, but ordained and a minister. So
okay. I didn't know.
So
okay.
No, but for you to say I'm below you, I am under your covering if you are walking with the character of a Christian man, and we are following all precepts. Absolutely correct.
I would disagree with that.
I'm supposed to submit to my husband, not just because you're a man.
Okay.
So I'm not below you simply because you're a man.
No, I'm only talking about your husband first. First of all, I just want to be clear for right now. For what we're talking about right now, I want to be clear. We're talking about your husband. That's why I said because that should be the end goal.
Okay.
I think you should portray these things. These are the kinds of qualities that will get you married. So for you to say, for somebody who's saying, well, I'll exhibit these qualities once I'm married, I think that person is going to probably remain in whatever status they're currently in. But for what we're talking about, let's just talk about marriage because it's certainly for believers that should be the end goal. Is that fair?
That's fair. So you only date Christian women then, and you only talk to and deal with Christian Bible believing women.
Well, I have to, if I may, you said something that I have to go against, because you are, here we go, because you are a believer. You said that when he's following Hearn, this is what we always fall into. No disrespect, Nancy, but I'm just saying these are the kind of things that when you don't really read the Bible and accept it for what it says.
I got you, Kareem. Give me a second.
Okay. Yeah, when you don't accept it for what it says, we fall into these tropes, these things that are really not biblically sound. Once you marry a man, he is your head, regardless of whether or not he's even following the word. Pursuant, first place, 1 Peter 3. It likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands. It's amazing that almost every time that the Bible says to obey or be in subjection to your husband, it doesn't just say your husband, it says your own husband, because
I just said that.
Because
I'm supposed to be submitted to my own husband.
It's typically easier for a woman to be in submission to any other man than her husband. She'll be submissive to her job, her boss at the job. She'll be submissive to the judge, right? She'll be submissive to the whoever. But when it comes to her husband, the pastor does not come before your husband.
But if you're walking in Christian husbandry, I'm not at a job. I'm at home having your babies and cleaning your house. So you don't have to.
I don't think Trina would go
worry
for that,
about
though,
that.
Nancy.
I'm saying, depending on what.
If I may, just let me finish this verse, and then I would love to talk about even that. And I know, Trina, you hear something, but let me finish this verse. Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word. So this is not limited to, because I know a lot of believing women, and I'm not saying you, Nancy, I don't know, but I'm just saying this is the normal idea that women have, that when he's following the word, if he's following the Lord, if he's fasting, praying, listen, the Bible just said that if he's not even obeying the word, he become a Muslim, but you marry him, this is your responsibility to follow after him.
I agree with you.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Trina,
before I go on, I know you had something, Trina.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, because you were saying that that God created man in his image, but it wasn't the woman. So Genesis 1:27 says, so God created man in his own image, in the image of God created he him, male and female created he them.
But it didn't say he created the woman in his image. He just said
But
he created
I
her.
feel like that's part of the same statement, even with the generality when they say man.
1 Corinthians 11:7, if you would. For indeed,
Man, I can't pull up my screen, save my share. Go ahead. I have it next time, though.
1 Corinthians 11:7. For a man. Now, if you know anything about 1 Corinthians 11, you'll know that this is referring distinctly between physical man and physical woman. They are not universal. That's one of the things I'm kind of fed up with. If we can say that, we make everything universal. God is not universal in that way. But if you look at 1 Corinthians 11:7, this is talking about a male man, or a man indeed ought not cover his head. In other words, he shouldn't have anybody over him, or as much as, but a woman should have somebody over her, or as much as he is the image and glory of God. But the woman is the what? Glory of the man. That's all I'm saying. So there is.
And we y'all glory, Kim, y'all. I mean, I just feel like back in the day, in that time, women cannot file for divorce. Women could not file for divorce. So it's almost like if your father gave you over to somebody, because you didn't even get to pick your husband back then. Your father or a male gave you over to somebody. And if this guy was not a good guy, I mean, and women, in a sense, back in those times were stuck. The generations that you saying were so happy, like you mentioned in the 60s, where they were so happy, those were the women that raised up the daughters that said, hey, get your degree.
No.
Be independent.
No.
They told some of them to do that because that lifestyle. And you mentioned even too, he could go and step out. I feel like men love to
do that.
capitalize. I can step out the house.
That's totally different. You talking about the baby boomers.
No, what did he just say?
That's a totally different era of women. And that started around the late 70s, 80s. That started when that 70s, 80s. That's now. That's the 30-year-old, 40-year-old now. Yes. But the baby boomers wasn't on that. They taught their daughters how to cook. They taught them how to clean. They taught them how to do everything for the home. They taught them how to raise
and
children.
they sent me to college too, and I'm 55.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, I learned how to cook.
that.
I learned how to clean. I learned how to be a wife, but I also got educated.
I understand,
Like
but I'm speaking statistically right now. I'm sure there are some outliers, but statistically speaking, if you look at the stats, they were, like he said, there were more marriages back then. There were
Yeah,
more
but was it
children in
that
the
they were
home and
staying in marriage out of commitment? Were they staying in marriage out of commitment? So we don't need to be happy. We just need to be married.
We live in a time back in the days.
I'm asking because I feel like that's what you guys, especially Chris. I feel like that's what's being said, is that we don't have to really worry about being happy. We just need to be married.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you guys go, but I'm trying not to interject too much here. But here's the thing: when it comes to happiness, I don't think it's anybody's job to make you happy.
But it's not your job to make me unhappy either.
That's his job.
To make you unhappy.
That's the job. The job is not to make your life harder. But to make you happy, nobody can, that's not something that I should be made to do. But if
you're right. I don't think
is it my job to make your life easier?
That's
if
true.
I'm the leader, if my job is to lead and your job is to be my helper, how is it really my job to make your life easier or you to make my life easier?
We gonna be making both our life easy because women are not staying. So even if men are harping on this, women are not staying. We filed for divorce, and we're the group that looks forward to marriage the most.
You look forward to marriage, but you're not looking forward to being wives.
No, we look forward to carriage. We're not looking forward to marriage because we don't have any idea what marriage really is. Let me just say that. Let me say that. We look forward to carriage. We look forward to what we think marriage is supposed to be about. And it's not that. It's not that.
It's a wedding. You guys look forward to wedding.
Which is why the girl was upset that she got the ring in the car and not at Applebee's where everybody could see it.
But even when you say you look forward to the wedding, I feel like when you're standing up there, marriage vows, and you're saying for better or worse, we're in our young minds and we're staring at each other's eyes, signing up for something that we have no idea what that's going to look like later. And if you get into a relationship and we are bumping heads, we can't get along, especially if the guy comes in and with this kind of talk where I'm the man and he's not listening to nothing you got to say.
But you shouldn't be marrying him.
Yeah.
If he's not listening to you, you shouldn't be marrying him.
No, but okay, let me not even give that example. Because when you say, I feel like a lot of people say, oh, you should have known everything at the beginning. Some of the stuff you're just not going to find out until you're in the marriage. Let's be real. Some stuff you knew, but some of the stuff you don't find out until you're in the marriage. And you just hope. Like I know people who they had a death that happened where it was somebody close to them. And this person changed over night and day.
But that's the worst part in the vows.
No, I'm not even saying that. I'm not saying that
if you marry somebody and they go through a death and they change, like and your personality changes or you have a patch of changing, I know we don't like it, but I'm very progressive when it comes to fighting for healthy women, but I'm very old-fashioned when it comes to marriage and to relationships because I feel like everybody's not built for it. And we were very much sold a bill of goods that said this is going to be a Cinderella story. Right. And that is not what it is. And it's okay if you don't get married. If you are not built to be a wife, you should not be screwing up somebody's. You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
Can't go with
you shouldn't. I don't feel like everybody is built to be a wife. I'm a woman. I don't feel like every woman was designed and created to be a wife simply because you were a woman.
That's why you
no. Okay, then why
If you are a believer, I can show you in Genesis, I can show you in 1 Corinthians, and there's another place that a woman was put here for the man. You were made, designed, created. The Bible used these words.
Right. I can be here for a man without being a wife. You're equating me being here for a man being his sexual part. The only benefit of me being the only benefit of me being a wife to a man, honestly, the only benefit for that is that I am covered, I am protected, I am provided for. He receives me as the mother of his children, the keeper of his home. I am the neck to his head. So I am the support to his leadership.
An uncovered woman can't even receive from God like a married.
But I'm covered. I don't have to have a husband to be covered.
Oh, okay. So let's go here then. I mean, let me know, because I want to read basic Bible. This ain't like my philosophy class. I want to read basic Bible. The stuff I'm presenting is straight scripture, so we either gonna receive it.
So my father doesn't cover me if I don't have a husband.
And what happens if she?
My older brothers don't cover me. My older brothers don't cover me if I don't have a husband.
Okay, that's a temporary covering. Your father is there for temporary, but eventually you're supposed to get married.
No. Where does that say?
I got you.
Where does the Bible say I'm supposed to be married?
Worry not. I got you covered. You know, I'm going
okay.
to go chapter verse, and just give me 1 second. But I think that becomes a scapegoat, because I see a lot of posts or hashtags that say things like, from women that say things like, and these are believer women, I'm not even talking about the world right now, say things like single and content. How can you be single and content? If you're single, you should be, listen, and I'll actually go there first. And Titus, if you would, the Titus 3, I'm gonna go right there. It's gonna hit you right.
He got me looking through my Bible.
Because there's no, I want him to tell me where it says implicitly in the Bible that I, as a woman, my design was to be married.
Okay.
When Paul actually says, "Hey, you,"
can I get there for you? But that's because you just said something I think is very important. That, like, if a woman is not married, well, let me tell you, this is biblical advice. We can't. First of all, either you believe Paul or you don't. Either you believe the New Testament, we're supposed to believe the New Testament. Now, I think we should believe the Old Testament, but everybody's not there. But at least believers, we've been taught ever since day one, we should believe the New Testament. So I don't know. I don't like this Edomite version of taking.
Oh, Lord. Here we go. That wasn't me, YouTube. That was him.
But we take bits and pieces, cherry pick it like a burnt turkey. Well, this piece is good. Let me take this piece. Oh, this let me get this. No,
you want to talk. I'm hungry.
You
gonna talk like this?
You gotta take the whole.
Bring me something to eat in the kitchen, D.
All right. Titus 2. Uncovered woman. Biblical structure. Biblical instruction. Let me say is that the aged women should do what? Teach the young women to love their husbands, to get married. That was the whole objective, is to get married.
Listen, I was raised. Let me bring some clarity to your conversation, and then I'm gonna be quiet and let you finish. I was raised and culturized Messianic Jewish, so a lot of what you're speaking of doesn't apply to how I believe, how I was culturized, because I am covered and was covered by my father until my father gave me to my husband. And when my husband passed away, my older brothers then stepped in and covered me and my children. So for you to tell me that because I don't have a husband, I am somehow not in the will of God, or any woman that has never been married, maybe doesn't have children, and chooses because she does not want to get married. In my culture, there are extremely successful women who have never married and never have children and are considered an asset to their brothers, their fathers, their businesses, and everything else. So I look forward to you showing me in the Bible where it says that
No, not a problem.
If I am not a wife, I am somehow.
You're a widow. You're not unmarried. You're a widow. That's a different classification.
I'm still unmarried and considered a single mother, according to
biblically speaking, you are.
I don't think you're not in that one.
Biblically speaking,
you ain't a baby mama out here.
Okay, you're a widow.
I am though. I mean, but go ahead.
I'm sorry to hear about that, but again, the admonition was to teach the unmarried women to be married and how to love. Notice it, and nothing in there said anything about being business and being. You said they're highly successful. Nothing in there says teach the women how to get businesses.
Proverbs 31 is about a highly successful woman who was at the gate.
What is one of the main things that made her virtuous? What is the missing ingredient for most women?
You tell me what made her virtuous.
Come on.
No, you tell me what made her virtuous.
Stay with it. Come on.
I am. I'm not riled up. This is my normal.
What is the missing? I'm glad you talk about. You don't want me to go to Proverbs 31. I don't think you want me to go there.
And scrutinize. Thank you. I appreciate you, but
what?
I'm good. No, scrutinize was saying I'm a widow. The church is supposed to have my back.
Yeah, 30. Go to Proverbs 31. In the very end of it, starts to talk about it. Yeah.
The way you're describing marriage, Chris, I wouldn't imagine that a woman would want to get into it. It just seems like as a woman, as soon as you get married, you have no hopes, you have no dreams, you have nothing. You just with him.
I didn't say that.
That's what it sounds like.
That's how you describe it here. I'm being honest. That's how you make it sound.
No. First of all, it's not how I'm describing it. I'm going to chapters and verses. So it's not like this is my interpretation. For far too long, we
better get you an application Bible then.
Even the church has had a very carnal perspective. I'm going to chapter and verse, ma'am. I haven't even gone to the Old Testament. You want to go to Proverbs 31, which I don't think you want to. But as successful as that woman was, okay, what part of that ingredient was having a husband and having children. That was part of it. It's part of the recipe. You can't take that out.
Right, but okay.
Because we need a job for provision. Because back in those times, a woman needed some type of male to provide for her. We're not.
It works best that way, Trina.
But I feel like men were mistreated.
So where are the men that can provide that?
Money is power. We don't want to do that no more.
Why do you think that, Trina? Why do you feel that way? Why do you feel like women were so
even in the Bible, it said they wasn't supposed to be getting divorced, but they were doing stuff they shouldn't have been doing. So they would like trade you in as a wife if they felt like. Now they did try to put parameters and say you couldn't leave and go back. I feel like just in general, majority of the people that I know that are married and marriages are old and stuff like that, they were complaining. They were not happy. Like, how many marriages do we know we can look at and say, be like, wow, those two are really showing examples.
Happiness wasn't a priority, though. I'm going to be honest. Happiness wasn't a priority.
No, but I'm glad somebody said it wasn't. Man wants a woman because
my parents were married for 60 years
but I feel
I
like
don't
also,
know.
even when it comes down to income, a woman can own a bank account until around somewhere in the 1970s.
True, that's very
as
true.
A woman, you had to kind of stay. Now we don't have to stay and put up with stuff because you're the one who's making. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Then you shouldn't, Trina. You just shouldn't get married, sweetheart.
Listen, they just said I can't be single and content.
Trina, listen to me on here.
You already see what I'm at with it.
Trina, you should get married. Hopefully you hear me. But no disrespect, Miss Nancy. This is why we have this. You just supported the feminist culture. Don't get married. Honestly, that's
I'm saying if her let me say this first of all, so that my words are not twisted with you. What I'm saying to her is that I love you, Trina. So please receive this with sisterly love. Her understanding and her stance is not conducive to marriage at this time. We could not make an agreeable partner in a relationship at this time, period. So you can tell her to get married And then you'll be the same one 6 months from now when she's telling you she will go file for divorce. She is telling you out of her mouth, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, and you don't do this for me, I don't have to have you. I don't need
you. You don't do this for me. I'm more so saying I'm not going to put up with some foolishness, a whole bunch of foolishness. If we having problems, we can go to counseling. I will be willing to try to fix it. But if you try me with some of the crazy stuff that some of these relationships do, I'm not going to stay.
You're going to go get divorced.
Yeah, and I am.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in.
It's like we get an outside baby. I'm not staying with that.
Let me jump in. Check it. I think it seems like to me that, Trina, I love you. But it seems like to me you come in with a whole lot of baggage. It just seems, and it's like, if I was a man, and like men who watch this show may watch it later, when you say the dating pool is this certain way, we forget that we're in it too. And our reason why I say it is good for me, because I don't try to take none of my presumptions in it. I try to look at things for what they are. And for everybody else, they like, oh, it's horrible. But it seemed like you come in and like, look, and it's so airtight that, it's no room for organic growth. And if I'm a man, I'm looking at that and I'm like, is this something, if I'm already doomed before I start, why would I jump into something like this?
Okay, can I respond to that?
Yeah, please.
I won't necessarily say I feel like it's coming from a place of doom from you start. When we meet, I'm going to trust you until I can't. And it's going to be on your actions. I feel like we should go into a relationship not with blinders on our eyes. Trust as something that has to be earned. As you interact with somebody and you see, okay, I can fall back on you and I can trust you. I feel like those things will let go. But it seems like now people just want to come in because you said hello and you smiled at me. Now I should just be so trusting of you. Now, as far as, like I said, with marriages, I have seen a lot of marriages going on, and I still feel like, this is my honest opinion, and we can look at the divorce rate. Majority of the marriages are not lasting, or if the people are still together, they're not happy. I mean, to the point where it just seems like it's toxic. I like my
Give me the age and demographic of the leading demographic of divorces and marriage, the least, like the demographic that gets the most divorced and the least married. Give me that demographic.
Okay,
right
you
there.
said it was the black women.
The age and the race of the least married, first divorced demographic.
What do you mean? Like, are you telling me talking
It's
about
us?
black women?
It's us. It's us. It's us.
Yeah, but I don't know the age range of
It's
that
usually between the ages of 25 and 40. Well,
35 or 40.
Most not even get married after 40. But the ones that get married after 40, they pretty much stay because they understand it at that point. You see what I'm saying? But that age range right there, to me, it still sounds like doom and gloom from jump. Because it's if. And it's not, if I come in and it's already this mountain that I got to climb, as a man that's established myself, do I want to fight this battle?
But I'm saying, but at some point, didn't back in the day, if the guy was coming to meet your father, he kind of had to show himself where your father would even be accepting. It's like nowadays, guys just want to show up because they said hello.
We don't have no daddies to do that no more, so we
I'm
can't.
not about to just trust you now as we go along in life, because I consider myself a reasonable person. I'm just really at peace at being single. And I know we don't like to hear this, but so if I'm going to get into a relationship with a guy, and if I got into a relationship where it wasn't where we could learn to talk, and I'm not saying this is absence of problems, I'm talking about we have the mindset where we're going to work together, talk these things out, and we're going to have to talk it out with not a bunch of hollering and screaming and being disrespectful and all that other stuff. If I met someone like that and it progressed forward into that, great. But if I met someone and it was toxic, where you're out doing some behaviors that are just ridiculous stuff that I wouldn't do to you, because ain't no man going to stay with me if I'm coming in and being a liar and all this, and cheater, and then I'm not respecting the pastor over you, and you supposed to be my husband. You guys are not going to stay. So what I'm saying is, the behaviors are toxic. I'm not going to stay and just feel like, oh, because we're married, I'm going to endure and be miserable. No, I work at a funeral home.
Men stay though. Men stay, and men stay and leave, like they physically stay.
But they get help to stay because some of them are out, and not all men are cheaters, but some of them are out getting outside resources. I'm not a cheater, so if I'm not happy in a relationship, I'm just dealing with just you, whatever. But if you're out cheating and your energy is somewhere else, you're getting somebody to take care of another part of you, and I don't feel like your energy is in this relationship. I get it that men will stay in and maybe they can handle it and be miserable. As for me, I work at a funeral home. I see too many people that die young. When you are under a high level of stress, your body is releasing all these hormones, and that stuff is like killing you. As far as I don't want to be stressed out. Now, like I said, if I could find somebody where we can work together and we both have a mutual level of respect, then it'll be. But in case he gets disrespectful or he slaps me or whatever, I will file for divorce.
Trina, I would say this, man. Out of all love, for real, it sounds like you have just had some really bad. I don't mean this in a nasty way, but it does sound like you've had some pretty bad experiences, and that you're approaching this from a place of fear. And just like faith, you get the positive things. Fear, I think Job said, the thing that I feared came upon me. So you're approaching this with this negative energy, then it's almost like attracting it to you. I think that especially if you're a believer, if you understand that God's way gets his results, so we can't rejigger this thing and take what we like. If I said, "Oh, you're gonna get your money pressed down, shaking together," woo, we run around the church. You know what I'm saying? Your breakthrough coming on, woo, my healing's coming, woo. Well, also what he said about a man and a wife, woo. You should probably have that kind of approach to it. And to just piggyback real quick, Nancy, you were saying, I said,
I'm over here being quiet, Chris. Don't come over here messing with me.
Earlier you said, I gotta get you, because you said, I told you that you gave her the wrong advice, because you did. You gave her this advice of better to be by yourself. What she should have gotten from an older, seasoned woman who had been married before should have been, sis, get yourself together so you can get married. Not just be by yourself. We got enough people.
No, what I said to her was that she should not marry.
Finish right up in there. Yeah. So all I'm saying is, like Titus 2, the spiritual advice is that the aged women, Titus 2 and 3, that they be in behaviors becoming holiness. I'm not going to say that you're not. But verse 4, that they may teach young women to be sober, to love their husbands, love their children, be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed or spoken evilly against.
Okay,
so when you're out here and you're married and you have this idea of, I don't have to do what I just read, you're blaspheming the word of God, not Chris Terry.
But what happens if you say,
okay, well, let me just say this.
Let's Nancy go, and then I'll let you go, Trina. Go,
first of all, I don't do spiritual counseling to people who I don't know what their spiritual status is. I'm talking to Trina as a woman to a woman. And I'm telling her that in the mental stance that she is in, and we talk outside of this exchange. So the mental stance that she's in right now, I would not advise her to be married, because she is not going to have a successful marriage as long as her thinking is the way her thinking is right now. As an older woman, I absolutely have the obligation to check in behavior when I see it. It ain't got nothing to do with spiritual. Because you got to be human before you even talking to somebody on a spiritual level is a higher understanding. It's a triangle. If somebody is hungry in their body, they can't hear you spiritually. If somebody is homeless, they can't hear you spiritually. I'm talking to her as a human first.
I understand.
So it wasn't me being unspiritual with her. I don't know what her belief system is. So me coming at her saying, well, in Titus 2:33, if she don't care about that Bible, Titus doesn't matter to her. With me being seasoned and being kingdom, I understand that the spirit is love. And I got to come to her with love before I come to her with the word and the tittle and the dots and everything else of the Bible. It's the spirit. That's what it is. So she's not ready to be a wife. And you're supposed to be a wife before you get married. And she is not a wife.
I understand.
So that's
I get it. I'm with you. If you really understood what I was saying, I wasn't saying that Nancy should go out and try to get married today. What I was saying is the advice is, sis, get ready though. This is where you should be headed, and give her the kind of advice, the kind of value system that she should have that will probably get her out of this.
I'm not here to get. We're not supposed to be giving people a value system.
I know, but hold on. But this fear-based system that she's kind of operating from, and I don't think she really realizes it. And I'm only saying it because I'm just trying to be honest with you. Of course, Nancy, Trina, you know I'm not trying to be anything, but I'm
not offended.
I'm just trying to help her out in that way. But I don't think you should have said, Nancy, Trina, go get married. I'm with you on that. I just think there's a lot of other godly wisdom you could have given her.
But why would I give her godly wisdom if I don't know if she understands or receives God?
She's a believer.
Because I'm a believer. So because
I'm a believer. Trina's a believer. Where are you at, Trina? Trina's a believer. There she is.
Okay.
She's a believer. So yeah. So
my point, and this is always my stance, and I respect your stance and your approach, but I feel like I'm not. I definitely move more in the character than the word. And what I mean by that is it's very rarely that I debate the Bible or that I throw a Bible verse onto anybody, because I feel like, just like you said, that she's walking in fear. I feel like people in general that tend to take verse, book, and throw it at you are doing it, and it causes comes across as though people are being spoken down to, and as though you are somehow less than, and you are somehow, I don't know what words to use with that, but I don't have to talk title or book and verse for her to be able to feel that I'm a God person. I very rarely even tell people, oh, I'm just a believer, because a believer of what? And me saying to somebody, I'm a believer of Jesus Christ and this, that, and the other, what is that? If I'm moving, if I'm really a believer and it's really written on my heart, what's understood don't need to be spoken.
Right.
All right, Chris, can I ask you a question?
Please do.
Okay. Now, the way that you presented and where it was heard to me about what it takes and what it's like for a woman to be with a husband, it doesn't sound like it's appeasing that certain women wouldn't want to even get into that. So in your opinion, what would being married to you, what can that woman expect the marriage to look like?
Oh,
that's a great question.
It is a good question. I have to admit it.
What more do you want from me?
Yeah, mute him. I know this is show, but he needs to
It's him being ready with the ad-libs.
Hey, Hearn got something for every occasion, man.
Every occasion.
It is fingertip. Listen, I think she could expect me to be committed, loyal, right? Which is very important. She could expect me to be responsible to her, these are the qualities. Well, here, I'll lead with this. She can expect me to be the qualities that I think a man should have toward his wife, which is, of course, being loyal, committed, being responsible for her. You know what I'm saying? If that means financially and everything else, I got to do what I got to do to make sure we're living and that we're doing well. To be the spiritual head of the family. Because as a believer, I think if we're not living according to the Bible, then we're not living according to the Bible. I can't say I'm a believer, but then give worldly or live from a worldly carnal perspective. And I'm not Bible thumping. I'm just showing you the reason I show Bible verses as a little asterisk here is just so you know that I'm not coming up with my own philosophies. I wanted people to see, hey, he's not just taking the word and doing this with, no. I want you to see that that's what it said. So that would be the spiritual heads of the family.
Can I ask? I want to jump in. Do you think the Bible was misogynistic?
I'm going to go get coffee. I'll be right back.
I think that this current society would say that. I think God would just give you his divine order. But I think in 2022, living in Babylon, I think most would probably say that it's misogynistic.
Let me ask you this. So if men came to your house and they wanted to have sex with your friend that was there, if I was over your house, right? We breaking bread. So men showed up and wanted to have sex with me. They want to have sex with me. Would you offer up your daughter instead? Is that a reasonable trade?
You talking about Sodom and Gomorrah?
I'm just saying. I'm showing you how the Bible could be. When I personally feel, and I'm with you.
But you know that was circumstantial. That wasn't a law. That was for a particular reason.
But it's because I didn't look at women. It's like we know he's a grown man, but your daughter who has never been with a man, you finna send her out there to a mob of men.
Listen, I actually think that was done for another reason. But whether I'm right or wrong, the point is that was a one-time incident. I mean, God presented himself in a burning bush, like bushes on fire, to see if we can get to God. That was
so you want something more. You want something that's etched in stone that's supposed to be a practice, correct?
There we go.
So if a girl gets raped, would you? If your daughter was raped, would you give her hand in marriage to a rapist?
I would need to see that. If you're going back to the laws or something like that, I would need to see that. I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, that is a law. It's actually in Exodus or so. It's one of those books where it's in there where it's actually said you get raped. If the father says no, he has to give 400 shillings or something like that, a silver or something like that. Okay. Is that acceptable? I mean, how else? That's what I'm saying. I feel like in some regards, the way that they treated women, even historically, I took Jewish history. So I know some of the way that they looked at women, even historically. They were not humans. In fact, there was actually a council that happened later on that determined women even had souls. So, I mean, there was a level of misogyny, I believe, in the Bible, the way that they treated women. And me personally, even though I agree with you on a lot of what you said, I just think sometimes when we use the Bible as far as how we deal with our women in today's time, some elements that I think should stay archaic, antiquated, because that's one of them. And the last thing I want to do is treat my woman like she just a piece of meat for my children, and that's it. And I don't want her to feel that way with me, because even though that's then, I think it's kind of unrealistic to ask a woman in the 21st century to even adhere to that, especially if she ain't down with, say for instance, I don't know I'm not gonna go into what you believe, right? But let's say for instance, I was in some church, right? And I believe this woman should be this way. If I go outside of that church, what's likely I'm gonna meet a woman that's gonna follow that?
Come on.
That's why I feel like
can you repeat that?
And that I read some of that stuff when I was reading, I was like, whoa, this is kind of crazy. What about that scripture when he came out and he just murdered his daughter? The first person that came out. What book was that? That was a story where his daughter, he said, the first person that come out the house, I gotta kill or something like that. And it was his daughter.
Yeah. I forget all the particulars.
I mean, it's just like, for me, I'm reading these stories of what they did to women, and it's just like, oh God, can I? Because for example, if I took my woman into the bed or my marriage and her hymen was already broken, I can kill her. But what is it to prove that I was a virgin at the time when that happened?
And also, your hymen can be broken by riding a bicycle and all this other stuff. It doesn't.
They didn't have any bikes back then.
They had camels. Look, they had camels.
It could have broken. It doesn't mean that she wasn't.
That's a pretty sharp camel hump, though. If it's doing that's a camel hump I don't want to deal with.
Camel race or something,
That camel hump could be found after hours on Showtime. I mean,
here I would need to investigate some of these scriptures that I'm just part of the law. I've been getting back into it. But I'm not totally familiar with those things. I would say this, that God's law is for a purpose, whether we understand it or not, period, point blank. So even like you talking about a woman hymen and this kind of thing, and she needs to be a virgin. Well, it's not like that for a man, because God never required a man to be a virgin. I'm not suggesting that a man should or should not be, but we know that sex has a different impact on a man than it does a woman. Matter of fact, you talking about how Christ loved the church. he said that the man, the husband, is the savior of the woman's body because it needs to be saved because she's much more delicate in that regards than a man.
How's that being delicate if he's all over the place sticking his penis in everything? Because your body can pick up.
We're not supposed to be doing that though. We're not even supposed to be doing that either.
Do you smell fear right now?
No, it's not even fear, but just listen, it's not even fear. If the guy can have these sexual escapades, a man doesn't have to necessarily bring you like a sexually transmitted disease as far as like chlamydia or whatever. But if he goes and dips in her bacteria and gets it to you, it can create problems for you.
Okay, well, first of all, you shouldn't be dipping. I don't think like there should not really be a lot of dippage going on. And I mean, listen, we're not gonna act like the Bible wasn't. This is a canonized book of stories. I'm not saying they're not God-breathed. I'm not saying anything of that nature. I love Jesus and I believe God to be real and true. But if you study how this Bible that we hold up was actually created and the purposes behind its creation, I believe what it's supposed to be is a blueprint for not a literal blueprint, but I believe that it is supposed to be a blueprint for behavior. I believe it is examples of how you carry yourself when you are representing Christ. But it is not what we call the Bible is not even the full Bible. There are books that were not put in. There's just so many things that you could go back and look at is all I'm saying. And I think that unless we are, and Dee made a really, really good point, unless we are on Christian Mingle and we are vetting all of our people through their belief system. Because if that's the case, then none of us that believe in Christ should be dating anybody that doesn't believe in. We should just be dating Christians, period. We should all be virgins. We should all just be we should all just be dating. We should just be dating Christians. Like the men
to be a virgin.
Okay, well, men, y'all can go out there and sow your seed. That's fine. But then when your dickle doesn't work, then I don't want to hear about it. Like I mean, that's what I'm saying. And Chris, I don't know you. But I feel like what I'm receiving from you, let me put it that way. What I'm receiving from you is that it's a bit misogynistic. If I'm being very honest, it feels very much like there's a very huge responsibility on how a woman is to carry herself, but yet and still a man is like, nope, we don't have to do that, and nope, we this, that, and the other, and nope, we're not going to do that, and I'm gonna protect, but if you don't come this way, I don't have to do this. And so I don't know if that's your intent, but that's how I'm receiving you. But I think and I've told you that I think you're so intelligent and so well spoken that I don't want to receive you incorrectly, but some of the things that you say, that's how they present.
Can I say this? I love particularly our women, so I'm not a misogynist. I'm not prejudiced. I certainly don't hate women. I certainly don't hate Black women. My mother is a Black woman. My grandmother. I've had my great aunts, God rest their souls. I love Black women, period. My sister, I could just go on all day. So the issue is not that. My issue goes back for, like, again, I'm only talking about believers. So if you want to have a carnal, worldly perspective, then we can talk on that level too, but I know that the majority of the people in this discussion are believers. So I just think that we don't have the right to determine what parts of the Bible we will receive, and other parts we will omit. I don't think we have that. So trust me, if you have conversations with me in regards to most anything, I'm going to try to find out what the original intent is. And let's just say that something was missed in translation. I know about the canonization of the Bible and 1611 and the various things, but I'm going to be standing much more confidently before the Most High when I say, well, this is what I had to go by, versus my own particular thoughts like I'm so smart. Because really none of us are that smart. And
so you don't think that you can possibly get into eisegesis by just reading the word? Because all of us are reading the word and there's still a level of interpretation that's going on from your reading. You're still going to look at those words, and it's based on where you're coming from, what you've experienced, that type of thing, what your understanding of language is, anything of those natures, which can still lead to some eisegesis.
I disagree with that statement for the most part. There are certainly some places, a lot, particularly with some of the prophecies, Jeremiah, Daniel, Revelation, right, where there could be this ambiguity. You know what I'm saying? The clarity is not quite there. But a lot of the Bible, come on, it's pretty much straightforward. The verses I presented today, how can we miss that? We choose to miss that. We choose to disagree with that. The great majority of the Bible is quite clear.
Let me hear what you have to say.
I was going to say about when you're talking about Bible, I'm a school teacher, and you can be sitting up there teaching the same thing to 30 kids, and you go out there and you will see where somebody heard it this way, somebody received it this way. Even with reading, there's a thing called author's purpose, where you're having to make judgments. Well, what do I think the author was saying about this? And because of your own life experiences, like even me, when I read the book of Judges of how they want to send the men out there, and although they didn't send the daughter out there, they sent the concubine out there, and she got cut up and raped, and then she got killed. I'm like, Lord, I can't even read this because I'm going to be mad at you, God. You know what I'm saying? I had conversations like that, but it's your interpretation, your life experiences that'll cause you to read the text and pull certain things out of it in a different way versus somebody else who's reading that text.
But the problem with that is, Nancy's not going to like this. I'm going to go to a chapter and verse. 2 Peter 1:20 says, knowing this first, that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. I don't get my interpretation. Derek gets his, you get yours, Nancy gets hers. We all just stuff. No, the Bible says what it means. And I think that helps bring it more into clarity that we can't take it out of context. I don't take God to be this big poet in the sky, this big enigma, and he doesn't want to be figured out. The grand majority of what he said, he spoke quite clearly, coherently, succinctly. And he said what he said. Now, whether or not we receive it depends on where we are. I've been in a place where I didn't receive things, so I'm not trying to make it seem like that. But at this point now, I'm really just trying to say, hey, scratch all of my preconceived notions, sacred cows. If I read that the Bible says this particular thing, I want to adjust to what it says and stop trying to make it adjust to me.
Okay.
Let me ask a question to all of you since you guys are here. Do you think, as it relates to the dating pool, which is the subject, do you think you are who you attract? The statement is you are who you attract. Do you think there's some validity to that statement? I'm gonna let Trina go first.
Ooh, you want to start with me? Let's start with Chris. I don't know. I need to think and process that. Can I get a pass and I'll come back?
Sure.
All
Nancy,
right,
I'll let you go.
Yeah, I definitely think you draw to you what you are.
In what way? So, say for instance, if, like I always say, like people, if you're an average person, if you're average, I know some people don't like that, but this is reality. We're dealing in numbers in sexual marketplace. So if you're average to your sexual marketplace value is average. So you attract average kind of men or average kind of women, or you able to pursue and acquire average, quote unquote, average women. Is that true? Do you think that's true?
Yeah, and I think that's what all of the miscommunication is now, is that I think we've watched Love and Hip Hop so much that we think that we can just go out and get an 8-figure man and we might be a 5-figure woman. And there's nothing wrong, and vice versa. Like, there's nothing wrong with, with dating in your lane. Like, if you're a female that's like, listen, like the female that needs $350 for her hair, $250 for her nails.
She ain't getting that though.
She's gonna get that from somebody. You know who's gonna pay her like that?
Hold on, let me find it for you. I got it somewhere. Hold on, where he at? Right here.
Exactly. So you can't say, because here's the example I always look at for that is Lyra Galore. If we all know who Lyra Galore is, maybe some of us don't know who Lyra Galore. Yeah, Lyra Galore is, you're familiar. Mm-hmm. She was dating P from Quality Control. Lyra Galore is 20-something years old. This man is probably 40. I'm going to give him 40. Not the most attractive man in the world, but he's moneyed and he's got power. She was dating a demographic. So women who are at that stage, we all date a demographic. If you're dating out of your demographic, whatever that is, you might be disappointed. I don't think the pool is tainted. I think a lot of us are in the wrong pool. And that's what the issue is. I don't have any problem in the pool that I'm in.
Nasty.
Go ahead, Chris. I'll let you answer.
Nasty. First of all, that was the best thing you said all night.
Shut up, Chris.
Man. No, I think that for sure it's what you get is certainly a reflection of where you are truly. I think that it, and I'm not saying this because I'm a misogynist, okay, but I think that women tend to have the most unrealistic. Typically, men know about what range of 2.7 to a 5.1, whatever, 5.1 to a 10, whatever. But we tend to have a much more realistic expectation of what we can get. But I do agree that you pretty much get about the level that you are on. I do agree with that, which is not a bad thing.
For me or no? You got something now?
Oh, you said to me?
Yes, you.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I do think you attract the level.
She don't like that. She don't like that. Look, she don't like that.
It's not that. I do think you attract, and it wasn't more so for as a woman who's like considered like low value, getting high value guys. I feel like certain times there's different times when an average guy will pull a really bad chick, or I don't want to use that example, but I mean like it's vice versa when you get in that. I just think when it comes down to relationships, when we're attracting these people in, we haven't been taught what how to really vet and see where somebody is. Because it's like you get into a relationship and next thing you know, you're like, you know what? I have a perception in my mind that it's not good out there. So since I got with you, I'm just going to run with you, even though you're showing me all this stuff that I do not want. And we don't know how to just cut our losses and just leave early. We'll just stay, whine, complain instead of just getting up and leaving.
No, we don't, girl. Who's doing that?
What do you mean?
Who's staying when all the flags are there?
I feel like there's people that are staying. I feel like I myself have stayed in a situation when there were flags there. And then when I got out of it, I'm like, oh, like Trina, come on. We stay.
I don't stay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Let me
Maybe I'm not loyal. I don't stay.
So
she's a divorce.
I'm glad we're doing this talk, having this talk about this dating pool. What I found, even in my research that I did today and the polling that I did, I found that the same ones that say the dating pool is quote unquote trash, when I see this person, male or female, like I got a man that's like Kevin Samuels. I liked some of the stuff he said. But some of the stuff I think, he made some of these men feel like they're on the level that they're not. You got men you go to their page, they got 2 pigtails with sagging jeans and a dusty T-shirt talking about their high value. They got them saying, oh, I want a woman that's this, or dress size, and you can't spell dress. I mean, those are not necessarily what I think. When you look at the dating pool, you got to be realistic about where you fit in this dating pool. So you could say the dating pool is trash, but if you were to really do an honest assessment of yourself, could you honestly say that the dating pool might be where you belong? It could be that these are the types of people that you have to choose from because this is what you present yourself to be. Here's the flip side. Men, we have to approach you. That's the flip side. You are not approaching us. We're approaching you. So if the man that you desire that has all these qualities are not approaching you, then maybe this pool that you in, this is your reality until you actually make changes to say, okay, let me switch. Remember, I talked to you about this. You got the carp and the catfish that's at the bottom. They're the bottom feeders. The good fish is the top. They're getting the best meats. You need to find a way to get to this part where you can get the good pickings. But if they're not choosing you, ma'am, the kind of man that's not choosing you, then it's not the pool. That's where it works against women. Okay, it works against you because we approach you. You're not approaching these men. You're not in the inbox talking about, I want to marry you, I want to be with you, I want to do this. Most of y'all not doing that. It's the man that has to approach you. And if the type of man that you want, that's financially stable, that's this. If that kind of man is not actively trying to be with you on a regular, then you might need to do some self-evaluation. Now, flip side, men, if you going after women out of your league, then you have, and they keep telling you no, then you have some things you need to do. But like,
get your money up. Get your money up. That's all a man has to do.
Most of the time, it's usually that.
Honestly,
I mean, for crying out loud, Biggie Smalls, he was pulling them, but we know he had money. That's what in this era. That's really number one. You yourself said you wouldn't date a man that's got $7 an hour.
But
if he made $700 an hour, if he made $700 a second,
I'm not dating
that changes
below
everything.
me financially. I'm not dating below me financially.
See, and that's what I mean when I say
hypergamy. Here we go. You can't wait. Where you at, Kevin?
It's too big of a gap. I make this amount.
You can't make this shit up.
You like
you can't make this shit up.
You can't make it
$7 is too low for me. That's like what my high schoolers make. I teach kids who make $7 an hour. The kids actually that I'm teaching are making more than $7 an hour.
And see, Chris, this is when I said everybody is different. I don't know if you were talking about like core values or what you were. Is Chris frozen or is he literally sitting that still?
No,
okay. I just had to check because that's a gift right there for you to not move no muscle on your face.
that is not me. I'm definitely gonna get.
I like Chris so much. I really do. The financial thing is not. I don't really have an issue with that. For me, like I want you to be purposeful. I want you to be doing something forward moving and purpose filled with your life. But if that thing right now is only making you $7 an hour, but that is your passion and that is what you are pouring and you are being productive with your day and your time.
Trina,
I don't really have a
not liking that.
I don't have a problem, but that's what I'm saying, and I can't tell her she's wrong for feeling the way that she feels. And that's what I mean when I say everything is not. It's much more important to me that you have something driving you than what the heck you're driving.
But I feel the situation you will at the beginning, it'll seem like that's fine, but then when financial struggles come in, and he is not capable, and I am drowning over here in these bills, and you only able.
How were you living before him?
Well, now he's coming in as an added expense because if we're together, if he's making $7 an hour, when you buying a house, they're looking at income. We are not going to be able to get a certain level of a house because his income is so low.
You don't already have a house?
This
my house, right?
No, the house that I'm in now, I brought this house for my son. So if I was to ever get married, we'd have to move in together and build something together. But the house that I'm in now, I want to give my son a house. So I mean,
D, you are out of control.
Listen, it was unfortunate. I was married before, and I brought this house after my divorce was final, and I'm just like, this is
oh girl, I'm telling you, it's going in the hypergamy. I think that's the, because if you make over 6 figures and you putting yourself in the top 12%, top 12% men, only 12% black men make that much. No, actually less than that. It's closer to 10%. And so you're saying, essentially, I'm 10% in the top 10% of all black women, or 10% of all women.
No,
that's what you're essentially
I didn't
saying.
say that.
Because
I
if that's the kind of man that he needs, you said you're not going to go to nobody make less than you.
But $7 an hour. You guys gave me the price of $7 an hour. McDonald's is paying more than that. I can't do $7 an hour.
It's right. It's minimum wage.
It's too far down for me.
But they can bring you some burgers home. They can bring you some food.
I don't need that unhealthy food anyway. We can't eat that every night.
Girl,
y'all said y'all want a woman fit. If she eating McDonald's every day,
no, that's what he said. I just want you curvy. I don't care about. I don't care. I mean,
Come
I don't
on,
want
Chris.
you looking like
Come on, Chris.
No, but
Chris
even
got
with
something
curvy,
to
I
say.
feel like it still needs to be
Go
a
ahead,
level
Chris.
of health. We can't have high blood pressure and all that stuff. A lot of those foods are like loaded with salt. So if she's eating that all the time,
they got salads at McDonald's. You gonna be? It's okay.
Well, I don't care what they got because I'm going to get something to eat after this show. But go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Chris. I'm sorry.
So when we look at men that were in previous generations, a lot of which I'm sure we probably met, uncles and so forth, men in the church who were outside, whatever. A lot of those men didn't earn a lot of money, but they were very respectful. They walked in a certain authority to take care of their homes and stuff like that. Are they less because they weren't $100,000 earners? You know what I'm saying? I think it's just some point we have to make a determination as in terms of what because everybody's not going to be rich. The Bible tells you're going to have the poor with you. Didn't the Messiah say that? You're going to have the poor with you always. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not going to be rich. And one thing is for sure, because a man is not rich, he shouldn't have any less of the qualities. We see that even in the book of Esther. He said, hey, publish this so no matter both great and small, no matter where they fall on the Richter scale, they all receive the same treatment so that all women know how to function and all men know how to function in their households. That's what it was about. So I struggle with that. Like if a man doesn't earn a certain amount of money, does he work every day? Is he responsible? Is he trying to lead the house? Is he there for you? Is he loyal? Is he committed? Like I think the woman was a fool. Was the presentation suck? Yes. Okay, cool. But I think she should have married him.
But you said okay. But you said, and I want it to be known, I'm not looking for somebody that's rich, but where my income is compared to $7 an hour, that's a huge gap. It's too big.
Okay, what about $15 an hour then?
I would say, let me give you a yearly amount.
Here we go.
The least that I want to do at 35 is $40,000.
That's average.
And
that's below average.
That's actually below average. So basically, you're saying you below average.
Well, no, I'm giving you a bulk. If he's making $40,000 and he has the great qualities that Chris says, I think I can do it. But $7, even with the
that's
gonna
be a
I don't think you can do
it.
Bullshit. I don't think
that's
you can do 40,000.
That's gonna be a problem. That's bullshit.
I don't think you can do 40,000, girl. You're not giving me 40,000.
That's all.
If he can manage his 40,000.
No, Trina. As soon as that man does something you don't like, you talking about you came in here with nothing, you didn't even have a pot to piss in.
Yeah. No, I didn't say that. I feel like guys want to come in like that, and then they want to do some disrespectful stuff, and then it's like that's what women
What's disrespectful though? Because I have an issue with that. And that might be a different show. I really do have an issue with women saying men are being disrespectful to them.
I just really don't know what that means, though.
I don't understand when you say it, what do you, because I just want to make sure I understand.
Okay, I once knew a guy where he made it seem like he was like, first off, you should never, and this wasn't anybody I dated, I'm just talking general. He was like, a man should never move in with the woman because They made it seem like the chick would just wake up one day and because he left the toilet seat up, we said get out. No.
I would,
he had to
from
been
somebody
cheating.
that did live with somebody, I would never do that again. Never, ever in life would I ever move in with a woman because she never, ever respected me in a way that I felt like I needed to be respected. I was second guessed everything.
That's
Every
real.
time I tried to do something, it was always some back talk. That cooperative stuff, that's out the door. She wasn't going to submit to some man that lived in my home. And when it really came down to it, guess what? You heard, get your stuff and get out my house.
But I feel like the woman that told him to get out had it right. He was out cheating. It's like, nah.
You still leave yourself open. I don't think, listen, fellas, don't move in with no chick. Don't do it. Have your own place.
I don't think anybody should move in with anybody. We're going to go get something together. I'm staying in my own
your
space.
Your name needs to be on that lease.
Yeah.
Period. Your name need to be on that lease. So it's at least bare minimum. Yeah. But I think you should have your own. I'm telling you, and this is something listen, ain't nothing like your own, my boy. It's nothing like it. I would tell any man, don't even do it. Don't do it now. Me and Trina talked. That's gonna be another live. We're gonna talk about it. So I'm not gonna even bring it up. But I still think, as it relates, let her move in with you. don't move in with her, bro. I'm telling you, it's not gonna be good.
From what you said, remember how I said, well, the house that I'm in now, I brought this house for my son. Would that be problematic if I said to a guy, hey, this house that I'm already in, this house is for my
I'm gonna be honest with you.
We move in together and get our own place or something on the side, and we can rent this out. It could be income towards the house.
Oh, let me explain this to you. That could be a little bit problematic because no, I wouldn't, Shanette, I wouldn't put her out. I'm just saying, you as a man, you should just have your own. I just really believe you should have your own. That's just how I feel. I'm not moving from that, but I think that may be problematic because if I marry you, you have finances going to something that I don't benefit from. You have finances to facilitate another home that does not benefit me.
But wait, if I'm renting this place out, say for example, if I move out and I'm renting it out and it's bringing in money into the house that we're currently in.
Man, it's your money. Is my name going
to be on that? Are you going to share that money with your husband? I don't think you sharing that. I think you putting that to the side for your son.
You said it's your son's house. You said it's your son's house.
You putting that money to the side for your son.
That's not benefiting me.
If I'm getting married late in life, also as a woman, now this is a perspective that tends to differ from women. If I'm meeting you late in life and I meet you and you already have amassed all this money, I don't feel like if we're getting a divorce, I should be able to take you for half of everything that you got.
Then you gonna sign that ledger that say you
you just gonna prenup.
So can I say with the house, okay, we're married, but I'm signing a prenup that for this house because I got this house before I met you.
The house.
I don't know, man. Fellas, tell me
why
what you
wouldn't
think.
you sell the house?
Tell me what you think in
why
the comment
wouldn't you
section.
sell the house and put money in a trust for your son then and just start fresh?
Even with that property, I feel like even if you sell the house, if my son can fight to get this place when I'm giving it to him and it's completely paid off, he can stay here, stack money. Once it could be the house could appreciate up in value, or he can say, you know, I'm gonna move out, go get something else. But I'm
how old is your? Can I ask how old your baby is?
He's 6.
Girl.
All right. Let's be honest, Trina. Let's be honest. That house is a potential exit strategy. That's all it is. You keep
I'm coming back.
If things don't work out, you want to be able to go back to your house or at least have.
Come on, D. I know you got something. Get on your board.
Still my
there you go. Come on.
Wait, Chris. I know this is extreme, but if I'm in a marriage and he slapped me, what should I do?
Exactly, and that's what the house is for. I'm not saying you won't give it to your son once he gets a certain age, but that's what it's for you. And if you go into a marriage with that kind of mindset, you're going there with a failed mindset, and you have a much higher rate of failure with that. You know
what
I'm saying?
should I do with the house?
I think you should let it go.
You should stay in the house and start some counseling.
Okay, wait. No, if
you get better over time, man.
Okay, say for example, if I sell this house and the profit that I make when I'm going into a marriage, I'm like, hey, we got to sign a prenup that this, because this, I came in with how much this house is worth and it was in cash. No. Because that's what y'all was telling me.
Okay, let me say this to you. Your premise is that house is for your 6-year-old child, right?
It's gonna take me some time to pay it off.
Okay, but my point being, if you meet a man who, and if we're keeping it a buck, which I'm gonna do, he's coming in taking care of somebody else's child. Mm-hmm. Yes. So there's gonna have to be a meeting of minds, and if he doesn't want to take on the debt of a toddler and another house, how much money do you want him to?
No, but when you say he doesn't want to take on another debt, one thing I can do is work. So I don't feel like he'd be taking on a debt with my son, because although my son, his dad is still in his life, and I'm financially stable in my own self, so he's not going to come.
He's taking on it. If he's taking on you, unless your son is going to live with his father, he's taking on a debt.
Well, what happens if he comes in with the child? Because I'm taking that on too.
How?
Right. Okay. So you're taking on the caregiving. You're not taking on the debt.
Relationship that you're in, everybody is going to have some concessions and some stuff that they're taking on. It's almost like we want to go into these relationships after 35, even so far as 30. Somebody is coming in with something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain people who think, well, I'm healed and I'm ready to go in a relationship. The fact of the matter is they're just not in a relationship and having that area triggered.
Everybody has baggage, and you do have to decide whose baggage is worth carrying. Absolutely. But your baggage should be empty. Like you can't come in and be like, well, my bag is not that heavy because I'm carrying it. No, that's not.
Well, you just said everybody has baggage, so how can we say that your baggage should be empty?
But you don't get to judge how heavy your baggage is.
I get what
for somebody else to carry. You don't get to judge that. So if that man is coming in and saying, Trina, your 6-year-old son is going to be living primarily with us, as a man, I am carrying some of that responsibility. I am in that house every day, every night. What am I going to be like? I'm not feeding you because, come on, girl. I'm not buying, like, I'm just going to feed myself and my kids. Your mama going to feed you. Your daddy going to come drop.
Entertain a guy like that.
Okay, so then it becomes his responsibility.
But I don't even feel like it becomes his responsibility, because I am in this house working too. So I don't feel like, well, from a financial standpoint, which is what I'm being presented with, I don't feel like.
I see Maurice feeling. Look at this.
Derek, this is what happens. See, women. So, like you say, it's not your responsibility.
That's not gonna happen, Maurice.
Oh, hell no.
Because he has a father, and that's gonna create problems. Because, say, for example, he popped my son, and he got a red mark on him. Now his dad is getting involved and saying, "Hey, I want to put him in jail." What? House abuse. This is something unfortunately, when you're dealing with co-parenting, because there's my situation that happened, I have my son, I love him, I cannot send him back, he is what he is. But as far as if I dated a guy, would I let that guy disrespect him? No. But as far as the whooping, I probably would say, I'm not even gonna say a problem, I would say no, because I know his dad is gonna have a problem with it, and it could cause so much other headaches for us. And I don't agree with that script that he should be with his dad. We both made him. Now he is with his dad sometimes, and he's with me. Children need both parents, not just a dad.
But sons definitely need fathers. You know that.
Yes, I agree with that.
How this works is, so she's saying, oh, we're both responsible. We're going to work every day. If the ship fails, who's going to get the blame? Who's society going to look at? If the ship fails, if the ship sinks, the responsibility is going to be on the man. Come on, you know this. It's always going to be on the man. So you want to say we both are responsible? That's hogwash. Nobody goes for that. You're only fooling yourself. It's still going to be on the man. And again, yes, you have to work, but that's why I say y'all really don't want it to touch Proverbs 31 because she worked too. You talking about as an extra 7 hours, ma'am. If your job asks you to work extra 7 hours a week, you're gonna work an extra hour a day, whatever, hour and a half to make that happen. So, of course, you should do it for your home, but everything she did was for her house, husband, and children, and it just works better that way. So,
but you know, it doesn't sound like what I'm saying would be
no. Because this whole thing, like, first of all, I'm not gonna say that I wouldn't talk to anybody with a child, but I certainly wouldn't talk to anyone with a child where I couldn't discipline a child. I'm not gonna feed it, take care of it, be nice to it, and I can't discipline.
Stop calling the baby.
You always have to just take discipline to physical.
Physical. I mean physically. I want to be clear. I mean physical. Whip the child, because I think that's very, very important. Most of us are where we are, and we're not behind bars because we got some form of.
I know I am.
I know. My little cousins got whooped to death, and both of them are jailed. And still, I don't feel like
horror story, Derek. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't feel like that's the only
form
of
this shit up, man.
You can't too far with the whooping. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree with all that.
This is a good case of don't get married till your son is grown.
Ooh, that's
like I'm gonna be honest.
I'm
gonna be honest because
I know I got one for this.
But what do you say for me? Wait, hold on, Nikki. What do you say for me if I bring this guy into the house and he is here on the days that he's with my son? He hits my son, and now my son's dad is coming here with the police and saying, I want him to go to jail for child abuse.
Okay, well, first of all, you should be having a discussion with your son's father to set priorities for your household. Your son's father.
We sat down and talked about it, and my son's dad say, hey, I'm here to support you, but please, when it comes down to physical discipline, I'm not on board with that. But however, we can, if my son is disrespecting you and Trina's not around, here's my phone number. You can call me and I'll come and handle you.
He should raise his son then.
Huh?
He should raise his son.
He should raise his son. If he does not want another man disciplining his son,
but we're talking about physical.
If he does not want another man,
you still.
I'm being very I'm not even trying to be rude to you because you my girl, but I'm being really honest with you.
But I'm asking
if that man is
the only way we're doing with hitting. Is that the only way?
Do you spank your son?
Very seldom. He doesn't get very many whoopings from me because he's not a child that needs that.
Do you spank your son?
Very seldom.
So the answer is yes then.
Yes. Now, if I'm giving him whooping, it's something I don't spank him for, like the stuff that kids would do. Like I know I told him to stop, but he knocks down the juice. I don't believe in whooping kids for stuff that's like normal kid behavior. Now, if he finna run out into the road, huh?
This is why you need masculinity in the house, because a man is going to wring that neck sometimes. Listen, I was very blessed to have my father in the house. I realized that. But make no mistakes about it. My mom, because she was there with us, especially early on, so she did a lot of discipline because dad was at work, right? But make no mistakes about it. My mom, although she was for real about the whooping thing. But my dad was the reason I was like, I know I don't want to deal with that Negro. So I'm like, no, he's coming home tonight. So where I probably could have rose against my mom a certain way or disrespectful or disregarded, I knew he was coming home at the end of the day, and it was never pretty. So I'm just saying there's a certain masculine. Now, that had an impact on me. I respect authority. I can also walk in authority because I saw how my father did it. I mean, there's a truth to it, but you got to have that masculine authority. I think it's no offense. He needs that nurture part from you, but he also needs that strong iron hand authority coming from a man. And this physical discipline really has a particular impact on young children. Period. Particularly,
gonna have a problem with it.
And I think too, Trina, like what I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, that there should be an understanding between his biological father and a person that you're in a relationship with. But if the only time that you're physically disciplining him by your examples, like if he's about to get into some danger or something, it's not realistic if that child is about to just almost ran out in the street and your husband is there. And in the heat of the moment, he's like, oh, I got
your
it.
aspirations.
Right, that part right there. I didn't want to cuss on this man platform, but that part right there, because it's that thing. And now the kid goes back to his father, which is what a kid does. Daddy, Mr. Richard snatched my arm up, and then now you got heat.
But I feel like that's a reasonable situation where you can explain away the situation that happened.
But he still could call the police.
Okay, listen, I'm talking about he knocked down some juice, and the guy that I'm with just go in there, pop him so hard. And
that's on you choosing somebody that's gonna pop your kid over some juice. Then that's not
but that's what I'm talking about. Discipline. It would have to be a behavior that's I don't know. I can't think of an example in my head where it's worthy enough for like a pop. But I feel like a situation like that, if he grabbed him, even if he broke his arm, I was saving his life because he could have.
Would you consider sending your son to his father? I don't know. I don't need the particulars. I'm just saying. Would you consider that?
No, I didn't. And let me tell you why. No, let me tell you why. I don't need the personal details.
I was just trying to add.
Okay, no, let me tell you why. Because when I wanted to raise it, I don't feel like I should have to deny myself deny myself what it means to like raise a child and become a distant parent because of our dynamics in a situation where we're dealing with co-parents. So now my son stays with you. I become a weekend mom. I don't want to do that. And that's not what I said.
That's selfish, honey. That's selfish. That's a little selfish.
You said?
Hey, Nancy, I got to.
How did I force him to do that? Hold on. How did I force him to do that? How did I force him to do that?
Because first, you did force him to do that because you're raising your son. Actually, you forced him to do the very thing you don't want to do, and that's not fair. And he's a boy. I can tell you, when boys hit 4, 5, 6, 7, they need a strong masculine figure.
But what do you want me to do if the relationship ended and we're living in 2 different households?
Give him to his father.
His dad, and I feel like a lot of times when they say to the guy, give him to his father, do the dads even want to take him for that type of responsibility? My son
used to be like that. It used to go like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to go like that. And dads, I hate to tell you, but a lot of times dads do better than the women. I very rarely see children out with a male, with their father, and them acting out of order. Very rarely. I'm talking about from 1, 2. You let me know. I can go out to any store any given day from 2 to 18. Mom's cussing them out, can't control them, got to pick them up. They crying all out. It does not happen. It's different.
But I feel like those situations would have been. That's more.
Come on, Derek. Derek, you ready today, boy?
No, but I feel like that's more of a reason why if a man should be careful with the woman that he impregnates, he should be like, I want to stay in this relationship and raise our child together because I feel like they need both of the parents.
Yeah. I don't have no problem with that.
Sure.
Absolutely.
But again, there's guys out there that are not doing that. So when the woman gets in a situation where he did not want to stay and the relationship is over, now she has to miss out on parenting because, I just got to leave.
He's missing out. Missing out. Again, speak to the fact that men typically do very well raising particularly boys. You know this. But so, I mean, the fact that he's missing out on his dad to accommodate you, I hate to say it like this, but your feelings about it.
No, but we have a split childhood. I want my son too. And I'm sorry. I feel like in our split with my son's father, I have him 4 nights. He has him 3. And the 40, I have him 4 nights because he works overnight sometimes. So we're comparable to a split. What I'm saying right now, especially at this young age, I'm not just willing to go over and give my son over to his dad just like that. Not at this age. And then a lot of the stuff.
What is this your son's
my son is because of who I am. His dad could not give him that stuff.
She keeps saying that that possessive pronoun will get you in trouble every time.
And we're not together, so I don't look at him like I'm not.
Whose child is it, Trina?
It's our child.
Say it for everybody to hear. Whose child is it?
It's our child.
But whose child is it?
It's our child.
Okay. Is that right?
To me, it is.
You bared this man's son. It's that man's
child.
It
was my egg, though.
You are the mother.
You son without my egg. So we're 50-50.
All right. It's still an apple. You don't say it's the ground. No, it's an apple. Although you put the seed in the ground to get the apple, it's still an apple tree, man. So it's still that man's. That's still that man's
I'm
seed.
happy she said "R" to be honest with you.
No, because y'all, I feel like we're doing like wordplay. I wasn't feeling like that. I feel like we're doing wordplay. I feel like
I'm not doing wordplay.
Our child.
I'm saying I think it's. I'm not doing wordplay. I'm saying that it's the man's child that you brought into the world. I'm not diminishing the beauty of it, the importance, all of that. I'm trusting.
You teaching now, Chris. That's the truth.
It is that man's seed. If you look in the Bible, which you know, I don't think God's a misogynist. You never saw the female's lineage. You always saw Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joshua, Moses. You never saw
the woman
female because
it's the male. Those children?
Nobody cared. To be honest with you,
women weren't even counted. We weren't even.
No, I'm not talking about the lineage. I'm talking about who was raising these kids because of the men were going out to wars and different things they were doing.
Very valuable. I'm not diminishing the role of a wife and a woman. It is irreplaceable. All I'm saying is the man seed, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Now we can see this time and time again, of course, biblically. But then even outside, there's just a certain impact that a man has on children that a woman. It goes both ways. You really need both. But again, it's hard for a woman to even can't contain control over the household without a man. Honestly, I see this all the time. My dad, one time, twice was a blessing, but 3 times was not happening.
Well, I gotta bring this.
Well, I will say, really quick, just we say that. Men have to take responsibility for some of the ways that they set up these families to transpire. My situation was not a situation that I chose, but it is what it is. And at the same time, 50%. I don't feel like I should take up that
50.
I don't feel like I should take up that issue as far as like while we're living in a split household. We are living in a split household. I'm not upset about it, but it is what it is. And I want to spend time with my son too.
But I have to ask this. So now that we established this, now we do understand, especially in our community, there is 70% of children born out of wedlock, right? Mm-hmm. So in this dating pool that we're speaking about, it is a lot of women out here who are mothers to single mothers, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're dealing in that environment, what would make this dating pool beneficial to men looking for women in this dating pool?
To be honest, I don't know. And I feel like marriage, and I get what Chris is saying, how we should want, but I feel like both of the sexes are on the east. One is on the east, one is on the west. Both people are starting to see, well, this is not.
Lord, this dude right here. Really scrutinized.
That's scrutinized.
Yeah,
this is not what relationships are cracked out to be. So I feel like men are running to their cave and saying, I don't see the benefit, and women are running to their cave and saying, hey, I don't.
I disagree there. I disagree
too.
If you give a man what he wants, I can listen. Look, I got cousins right now ready to get married, but their thing is they can't find what they're looking for. It's time to give a woman, she's acts great. I could just I'm not really just trying to put down women, but what I'm saying is they can't find what they're, because I know you guys think I'm just a woman hater.
Chris,
they got you looking
Chris,
like.
I don't think you're a woman hater. You don't have to say y'all. I know you're talking to me. I don't think you're a woman hater.
Nancy. No, I'm just playing.
I know. I don't think you're a woman hater.
I'm just being funny, but no, really. If they find what they're looking for, they will marry her today.
But will they be solid husbands though?
Yes, they work.
Yes, there are a lot of good men.
Yeah, listen, my daughter is 24, and against honestly everybody's advice, she got married at 21 years old while she was in nursing school, and they are having their family. They have just bought a house. They are getting it done. And that was not my first, I wanted her to be a wife, but I didn't want her to be a wife at 20. Like I wanted her to, but because I wanted her to finish school. I wanted her to be able to focus. I didn't think that she was going to be able to be a good wife and a good student and a mother simultaneously. That's just me being honest. And she proved me wrong. She graduated with her RN. They're about to have their third child. They bought a house. They're both working. They struggled. But what did
that happens?
What was that? What was that called? The IQ marriage? They started off buying their little furniture at the secondhand store, and now they're shopping. I mean, they're building, and they love each other. And
say that word one more time.
They're building.
Ooh, wow. That's. I think that's the part that we.
And it taught me a lesson.
That
it
building
did.
Together part.
It taught me a lesson.
Everybody come in with everything
already
lined up.
It did. It taught me a lesson because they're young and they're so happy and they don't have a lot of material. You know, they're okay. They bought their house. They got a little Jeep. Their kids are good, and they're happy.
I'm all for material. I just think that we as a culture have we just kind of lost our objectives and our value system chasing money. I'm all for it. They earn as much as you can. Make 40 billion, great. But it's not all about that. Period.
No, but you chase what's been stripped from you.
Oh, it wasn't to knock what you said. I'm just speaking in general.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean? Like
question. That it goes to my question. Do you think the media, what role does the media play in the sculpting of these dating pools that we're in?
Oh man, we can go another hour with that question, but
because I believe what I see on TV and what you see in these fairy tale Disney, you know what I'm saying? That I think that's what people look at when they're looking to date. These are the things that they're looking for. So when they look at the dating pool that they're in, they're looking for this make-believe situation that I think is not a reality. You know, so I'm wondering from you guys, what role, if any, does the media play in the sculpting of the ideologies of the dating pool we're in?
Well, I think Disney movies give you a fairy tale, but also we have these shows now like Love and Hip Hop. And there's not one stable relationship on that show. It's a bunch of toxic behaviors. And I feel like...
Well, it's a lot of good ladies up in there.
It's a bunch of toxic behaviors. And when you have social media where, you know, like there's this couple, I don't know, it's Blue, but they're like abusive towards each other and they're always on the shade room and this and stuff. This is what I feel like our young people are watching versus when we kind of came up. I mean, we kind of had shows like Family Matters and and we had all these stuff. Now you don't really see shows on there that celebrate family, and families are either separated because it's a single mother situation, or sometimes if the children are in the house, what they're seeing as presented to them. Because I got a homegirl right now, and she can't stay married because she saw such toxic behaviors with her parents. That any little thing, she's a runner and she's out.
She's a track star.
She's out of there. Like, listen.
I think media. I think media has played such a detrimental part in breaking us up. I can't even begin. Men and women, it just really changed our perspectives, and it has normalized a lot of things, from homosexuality to just our perspectives to our value system towards husband and wife, children, everything. Like you said, and then honestly. You know, like what you were saying, the Atlanta Housewives or whatever, you know, it's like, man, they really targeted this. But I remember this was like 2012, and I was still listening to the radio in the morning. So, you know, it's a long time ago. Anyway, they were talking about the Atlanta Housewives, and they was talking about that was the #1 show watched amongst African American women, regardless of socioeconomic background, meaning from the woman who lives in a project with no degree, no education, dropped out in 7th grade, all the way up to the doctor level and beyond.
I'm a PhD.
And all of this other stuff. This was the #1 show watched amongst African American women, according to the Mills Box and the Nielsen ratings. I was like, but again, they target. I mean, so I'm not knocking women. They did the same thing with men. But that's why I don't even like watching typical Black movies so much, because they push the stereotypes. And one thing's for sure. You never fix a problem with the problem. They're not solution oriented, and they certainly teach the doctor. I went to see Woman King. And afterwards, we had discussions about it. Listen, that movie is so feminist. I couldn't even, but she loved it. Oh, I love the movie. Wait, what? Hold on, dude. But again, it's the whole thing of it normalizes stuff. How can you watch The Woman King? First of all, to be in this, I forget the name of the tribe or whatever it was, but to get in there, no husband, no children. Wow. And then she wound up getting a man, but she chose a woman. No, he was trying to say, hey, come on back with me. Let's build. Let's go together. But essentially, she was like, no, I'd rather stay with my tribe. Stay with all the women. I don't know if you guys watched it or not, but I saw Black Panther. I haven't watched it, and I purposely have not watched one review. I have not read one review on it. But when I saw the picture, I was like, oh, man, this is a feminist movie. We got women all out in front. Look, women can't lead. Women, I said it. Hopefully you guys still love me. Women can't lead like men. Yes, you can be in a position of leadership. Women lead differently. Men don't typically follow women leaders like that. That's why I look at the church. It's feminist. It's everything. We like masculine leadership. I'm not, so trust me. But this movie, these movies and media and everything just push strong woman. And notice they don't really push strong man. Why is that?
Yeah,
this is
they
a problem.
had M'Baku, I ain't gonna tell y'all the movie. Y'all gotta watch it.
I'm gonna watch it.
It was definitely, Black Panther was definitely on that. Oh my God. I was like, dude.
Just from the picture, the screenshot, I was like, man, this is.
But do you think that it went that direction? Because unfortunately, in real life, Chadwick Boseman died.
I mean, I understand that, but
yes,
you mean to tell me in Africa, which is where this allegedly takes place, there were no men there qualified to lead?
But how did they do that as far as like the lineage? Because I don't know the full story.
Well, I mean, you had to fight for the to be king, like M'Baku fought T'Challa, and then Killmonger fought him. But these were men. But there was, and that's the thing. Well, I'm not gonna tell about the movie. Please don't tell people about the movie. Don't do that.
Well, I'm just talking about. I didn't say what happened in the movie.
No, I'm talking about in my comment sections. Don't spoil the movie. We don't do spoilers here. But yeah, you just gotta watch it, and then we'll probably have to come back on that. But it is definitely a strong element of that, and it was like that in Woman King, and definitely that and the other. But I do have to ask this question because we've been on here. There's been such a great conversation. I gotta have you three on again, y'all. Man, y'all bring the fire. But I'm
scared to come back.
I gotta ask you.
Don't be scared to come back, girl.
With the dating pool the way it is, right? In what ways do you think it can improve for you? For you, not overall, because that we'll be here till Jesus come back. But I'm saying, if in your personal dating pool, assuming that you are in it, in what ways do you think it could improve?
I think it can improve by knowing what you should be looking for. I think our women go for what they want, right? And by their feelings and not the correct or best core value system. And so I think by knowing what you should be looking for, your results will tend to be much better. I know women that look for swag and personality. And I mean, the money bag, I get it. I understand that part. I think it has been exacerbated, but I do understand that part. But again, knowing what core values, is he responsible? Has he been working for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, same job? Is he getting stuff paid for? Has he been consistent? Does he have a strong sense of logic and so forth? But again, I think knowing, and then same thing for the men, knowing what we're looking for, I think that would greatly enhance our prospects.
All right, Nancy. I think.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you call Nancy. Go ahead.
I think for me, honestly, I don't. You got to work on yourself. Like, I am a firm believer in. Again, you get what you're putting out, and you got to really do the work. Like, I agree with Chris. I think that, there is a set of women that are looking for superficial things. And when that's what you're focused on, that's what you're going to get. If I'm keeping it a buck, most females don't even really have the makeup to date a 6-figure man. They just don't, because you're going to see him about 2 hours a week, to be honest. Like, there's just certain things that come along with dating a high earning man that a lot of women, if you're not really secure within yourself and really don't have all your stuff together, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. And I've seen it happen with my friends where, you know, that they think that's what they want. And then when they get in that thing, listen, their poor little self-esteem took a blow. They took a hit, and it took a minute for them to recover. So my dating pool is, you know, it's cool. Like, I'm seeing somebody that I've been seeing for the last couple of years, and it's super chill. But it's because we communicate excessively.
Right.
Excessively. And not just communicate, we comprehend. So it's not just about the talking, it's about understanding. And when you grow understanding with people and you date on your level, for me, intellectually, because if I'm bored, I'm out.
Okay.
So just work on yourself. Like, that's what I would say.
If you're bored,
if
you're bored,
she said if she bored, she out.
Yeah, if I'm not, yes, short answer, if I'm bored. In other words, if I'm with a man who does not challenge my intellect, or that I can't have conversation, or who cannot lead or teach me, then I get bored. And then, you know, I'm not as engaged in the relationship. And I believe that relationships don't work, people do. Like, you have to work at your connection every single day. So, and again, I'm in a different age group. I'm in a different space in my life. You know, when I was 30, 25, 30, what I looked for was completely different than what I'm looking for in a relationship. Not in necessarily a man, but in a relationship.
Right.
Was completely different than what it is now.
Okay. Trina?
I would say, for it to be made better, both sexes need to check their expectations, and both sexes need to be honest. Don't get into something and like a person so you're almost turning into this a chameleon to accommodate whatever that other person wants, because you're not going to be able to keep up that that facade. If you don't like something, you should be upfront and open with that, just like she was saying about communication. And also, we need to understand that everybody that comes into your life is not necessarily your person. They may have just came into your life to show you a specific thing. So take what it is and just learn to cut your losses instead of just plowing forward, because the longer you stay in a situation that's not for you, the more damaged you get and the harder it is to get back out there.
Okay. Well, I got my things to say, but I'm gonna do it when y'all guys are in the green room. I'm not gonna give it right now. I'll go give it when you guys leave. But I think I'm happy to have you guys on, man. Y'all brought some fire, and that's what I really I like to hear different opinions. I like different perspectives. I like the fact that Nancy gave us that nice overall. You know, she put some spunk in it. You know what I mean? She gave us that girl, I need to talk. That now, sis, do I have it up? Where you at? She like, come here. Now, sis. But I enjoyed having you. I hope everybody that watched enjoyed having you. Chris, Nancy, and Trina, you guys were amazing tonight. But I'm gonna bid you adieu. So you guys say goodbye to my guests. If you guys want to stick around, you can. I'll let you in the green room, okay? But I love you guys.
Sounds
Thank you
good.
for joining me.
Man.
All right, take care.
All right.
Chris and Trina. I love you, girl.
Love you too.
So that was my guess. I'm glad you guys joined. I think that was a hot topic. We definitely delved into that thing. Chris brought some good points. I like Trina's points. Trina's gonna stick to her word though. Trina gonna stick. She ain't moving. She gonna stick on her word. She gonna keep on driving it home. She gonna bring it. And I like the fact that Nancy brought a different perspective. She just brought. She was able to bring Chris's points and Trina's points and then her own points. And then I'm just sitting back enjoying the show, to be honest with you. I forgot that I was the host here. But anyway, next week we're going to do something different. I got something else planned. Unless something amazing happens, I got something else I want to do with you guys next week. But I'm going to jump off of here. I haven't even eaten. Well, oh, wait. Let me give you my points. Okay. One of the things I want to touch on real quick. In my dating pool, what I've seen, even though I'm not out there like that, but what I have seen over the years, what I don't like, ladies, what I don't like, I see you do it too much. Do not waste your young years chasing after the wrong ones. I cannot drive that enough. When I was doing research for this show, I saw something, and when I tell you, it made my head split open. Check this out real quick. It ain't even nothing really. It's playing on the side. This lady's going live with dudes in jail. And all in the comment section, I saw ladies saying, he's cute. What's his name? When you getting out? And I'm like, this is one of the reasons why you think the dating pool is horrible. Because you choose these types of men to go with in the first place. And then at the very end of the day, you liking these dudes like this one. She's talking to a man in prison. You see what I see? You don't? Here. You throwing up hearts. These dudes are in jail. The reason why your dating pool is horrible because this is what you go for. You're thinking with, I don't know what mind you're thinking about. I would say this. If your dating pool is horrible and it's pissy, it could be because you're in it and you're the cesspool that you despise. And not because of who you are, but what you allow and what you've presented yourself to be. If you don't want to be in the pool with hood bandits, then don't parade as a hood bandit. If you don't want to be in the pool with men that ain't ish, don't present yourself to be that kind of man. Every day, try to work on yourself to become a better person, a better version of yourself so that you can increase your chances of getting the person that you want to be with. Okay? Your dating pool is not trash. It is not pissy. It is really not. It's what you put in. It's the work that you've done. Relationships are work. To find the right man is work. Because if anything, you got to present yourself. That means you got to be on your P's and Q's all the time. Men, we got to get up. We got to punch the clock. We got to have goal. We got to have drive. We got to present ourselves to be leaders. But if your dating pool is horrible, the first person you should look at being pissy is not the people that you didn't turn down and the people that you didn't let smash. It's the person that you look up in the mirror when you get out the shower. That's the number one. That's where it starts. Because your dating pool starts with you. Because it can be nothing but the choices that you made. So choose better, do better, become better, inspire to do better, and then your dating pool will be better. Be realistic about what you're looking for. You can't be 500 pounds talking about the dating pool is trash. Your options ain't many because you've allowed yourself to be the bottom feeders. Don't be out here sleeping on another woman's couch playing Madden all day and say, oh, the dating pool is trash. No, sir, you're trash because you're not presenting the ones that are worth something, anything. That's what I would tell you. So your dating pool is not what you think it is. To me, in my opinion, it's not what you think it is. The dating pool is what you are in, is where you desire to be. You determine what dating pool you are in. Honestly, that's just my opinion. And it wasn't until I grasped that my options became better. But I had to make choices. I had to make decisions, and I had to operate. Every time I end this show, I say, the mind thinks, the mouth speaks, the individual acts. That's what that means. That means you put it in your mind, you spoke it, so now you have the responsibility to make it happen. That goes into dating too. You can't say this is trash, and you've done nothing. You leave with your hair looking like Michael Myers masks. That's trash dating pool. Nobody's going to want you at work. If I'm a millionaire and I pull up and your hair look like you just got off a motorcycle, why would I want you? It's really that simple. I hate to see when people say the dating pool is trash. I really do. I hate when people say the dating pool is trash. It's trash, it's trash, it's trash. I think I would say, and it's a tough pill to swallow, but I'm trash. My choices are trash. I'm presenting myself to be trash. So the catfish and carp are munching at the food that they can get, which is me. The sharks have passed me by. The good fish has passed me by. The Chinook salmons have even passed me by. The bass is passing me by. The bait, I can't even get to it because I belong down here where the scavengers are, because that's what you're getting. That's why your pool is bad, because you're eating scavenger meat. Up your game. Up your status. Do better, and then you will have better chances. When you make bad choices in relationships, there are consequences. Men and women, there are consequences. You have to think about that, and you have to be realistic. Realistic. I think if you're realistic, your options will be better. Your options will be better, and your success rate will be better. I hope that helped you. I hope you enjoyed the show. But in the meantime, I'm about to jump off of here. Let me see what you said. These are females talking about the dating pool. Well, no, Scrutinized, let me be honest with you. When I left that status, there were a lot of men saying it was bad. One dude even said it's cocaine. One word to describe the dating pool, he said cocaine. I don't know what that means. But it's men saying it too. I think it's more women, but statistically it's not like it's 90-10. It's more like 65. You see what I'm saying? It's more like that. But still, no one should say the dating pool is trash if you presented yourself to be. I agree, Chris, with that. But I still think we control that. That's what I think. I think we control that. I really do. I think we control the pool we're in. This is one of the things you control. So if the dating pool is trash, then you need to find your way to find yourself in another one. Amen. Lights and walls. Amen. Lights and walls. But you know what that means. That means I'm about to jump off again. I haven't eaten. I need to find a regimen to eat before these shows. But I don't know what to do. I'm going to try to find me some spinach or something, some vegetables. If you know any good things that I can eat, tell me about it. But I love you. Jumping off of here. Good night, everybody.
Don't go.